Yeah. We on Twitch too?
Oh no, the fucking Twitch password wouldn't work.
Oh, I wish you had told me. I'd have looked it up. That's important. Can you get us on there while I'm there?
Yes, I could do that while we're on because we're back
All right,
on
cool.
now. Hey, we're back on. We're live. Sorry about the mix-up. If you were looking for us on Facebook and couldn't find us, we should be there now. Yep, we are. I'm looking at it. We were on YouTube exclusively. So a bunch of YouTube people got to see a bunch of cool shit that you Facebook folks didn't get to see.
But now you Facebook people can see some shit.
So I'm gonna go while Bobby's sending me some stuff real quick. I'm just gonna give you guys a quick recap.
Yeah.
First of all, welcome. Hey, what's up, Facebook? So we're checking out the returns right now. Florida is a bloodbath. It is red as fuck. It is all red. DeSantis has been already declared the winner. Also, Rubio, punk ass, has also won. Val Demings, it lost out to Rubio. But there is bright news in Florida too. Maxwell Frost, the 25-year-old young kid, the survivor of the school shooting. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one. I can't remember if he was at Parkland.
How terrible is that?
At the night, yeah, so many of them. I can't remember which one. I can't remember if he was at Pulse nightclub or if he was at Parkland, but whichever one it was, he's
ridiculous.
A survivor of a mass shooting. He's ridiculous. 25 years old. He was born in 1997.
That's amazing.
I have drank scotch older than he is, and he's about to be a congressman. Pretty excited for him.
That's amazing.
Excited about it.
That's an amazing situation.
Right now, there's a lot of hot news, good news happening in Georgia. I kind of felt like Georgia was going to be good news, even though it wasn't looking like it for a while. But right now, Raphael Warnock is up by 5 points. He is over 51%. He's at 52%. So
that's amazing.
Runoff.
Yeah.
Be a runoff.
Which would be great.
If he keeps that lead.
Yeah. It's interesting. They got Rubio projected as the winner. He's up by quite a few million right now over Val Demings. Florida continues to disappoint. I always wonder why people insist on going there. I understand why people want to move there, right? Like that makes sense because, they have the whole taxing that they take advantage of, and that makes sense, right? But but the whole thing with the everything else in Florida sounds terrible.
Hey man, I lived in Florida. It was only 6 months. It wasn't even a whole 6 months. It was like 5.5 months.
Right.
And I had a lot of fun in South Beach. I'm not going to fake a front. I love South Beach. But the rest of Florida can drown. But I saw, this was in 2012. It's literally 10 years ago. And there's two ways to get to Miami if you're driving from Tampa. There's two different routes you can go. And the main route you take is normal, it's just highway, whatever. We went the quote unquote back way one time just to see what it was like.
Right.
And I passed as soon as you leave Tampa, there's a giant trailer park.
Right.
And that trailer park has a Confederate flag that is so big it will literally scare the shit out of you, because when you see that flag, you know exactly why anybody would have. It's the biggest flag I've ever seen in my life. It is.
That's
massive.
just insane.
It looks freakish. It's so massive.
That's just insane.
That's just a big sign that says no niggas allowed. We don't want to see no colors, no darkies. You know, and I was on the highway, and I think I was doing like 90 already, and I think I put another 15 miles on the speedometer because I was like, I got to get the fuck away from here. I don't want to be anywhere in this area. And it's patches of Florida like that all over the place. There's fairly cool spots that are fun to hang out at and party at. But if you leave outside that touristy cool spot and engage anywhere else in that state, a cracker or a gator gonna get you. It's gonna be a gator or a cracker or a gator. One of the two.
I just sent you the Twitch info, by the way, so we can get up on Twitch here in a minute. I mean, my thing with Florida is like, I like, because of who they keep electing, they keep sending a message to me as to how I should feel about Florida, right? Like the idea, all the crazy shit that Marco Rubio has done and said over the years, the idea that you're still rolling with this dude, DeSantis, all these guys, the fact that all these guys are still winning is just crazy to me. The idea that DeSantis, I mean, and I agree with you. You know what I mean? Like I agree with that idea of like, it should feel weird that somebody can do the things that DeSantis has done in regards to sending migrants to Massachusetts, to having a bill passed where people who've gotten out of prison can vote, and then his arresting of people who were voting, his yelling at kids to take off masks, like every single bit about everything he's done is something that should be an embarrassment as a governor, right?
So here's something that's crazy about the thing with the arresting people for voting is I think that actually got him votes. Oh, no, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. It didn't get him votes. He didn't get votes from that. It kept people from voting. There were people who were saying that they were afraid
of course
to go vote because they thought, hey, man, what if they pull up some bullshit on me? Because those people who went thought they were okay.
Yeah. DeSantis, he's interested in, he would like to be the president of Florida.
He is such an obvious tool, man. That's the thing I don't get about those guys.
Well, so here's the difficulty I have here's the other difficulty I have with DeSantis. I'm trying to find what is the appeal? Because he's here's what I'll say about Trump. And I obviously we all know after, years on this that I'm not a big fan. But what I will say about Trump is if you set aside the part that what he's actually saying is like racist, bigoted, fascist stuff, it would be funny. You know what I mean? Like there's at least it's gross and I don't like it, but it is a version of charisma that comes off of the guy, right? I don't like it. I think it's slimy and griftery, but it's like there is a thing where pre him running for president, starting to be a dickbag to Obama and all that stuff, there is an allure to a guy who is successful. It's almost more alluring that he's not in shape, that his hair is funky, that he's not particularly attractive, and also people can't seem to leave him alone. People want to be around him. To me, that's almost man, in spite of all of this grossness, people still want to fucking kick it with you. That's crazy to me. You know what I mean? And so here's the thing though. DeSantis is like that, but is like Trump, but with none of that. Yeah. And so I don't understand what's appealing about the guy. He walks weird. He does this weird thing where he walks like he's got like his arms are always out, like he's George Jefferson.
He's built weird. He's built like a fucking Weeble Wobble. He looks like a Weeble Wobble with arms. If you remember those toys when we were little?
Yeah.
Little eggs?
Yeah, they don't fall down.
Yeah, he's built like a Weeble Wobble.
Yeah,
with arms and legs. They put like somebody like a Mr. Potato Head with that's
he walks like Mr. Potato Head. That's exactly what he walks like.
And it's so weird because I don't know if you've ever seen this. I think it's the Daily Show. Somebody did a thing where they showed he even mimics Trump's mannerisms, down to the point where he's doing stuff that that you wouldn't even think to make a connection that's a Trump thing. When he signed a bill, he signs his bills the exact same way that Trump does. He does all this. It looks like he's a Trump impersonator, but that he's not actually impersonating Trump. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question. So let's hypothesize here for a little bit because we're on the pod and who gives a fuck, right? We're gonna have some fun with it, right? This could be. Listen, if you are watching this on any of the channels, this could be the final day of democracy. Okay, this could. You think I'm kidding, but let's be real. If the House is taken over by Republicans and the Senate is taken over by Republicans, they're not like the Democrats where they talk some shit but then don't do anything. They're gonna go for the jugular. They're gonna go after all that shit. They want it all. So this could be the last day of democracy. So let's talk some shit. Let's talk some shit. He's a fucking goofball. So here's what I want to know. So let's say Trump makes his announcement on the 15th. It's not like it's going to be some big surprise on what it is. This guy could never be in a Marvel movie. That's how terrible he is. Trump can't keep a secret for nothing. You know what I mean? he announced he's like, there's gonna be a big announcement on the 15th. Well, we all know what the fuck that is. So do you think that if DeSantis loses to him, that he would take a vice president gig?
Do I think DeSantis would? I think any one of those motherfuckers would do anything they can to sniff Trump's farts. They want to be. I guess that's probably one of the reasons why. Because people used to joke with me all the time and ask me, like, "You always into politics? How come you never went into politics?" Because I don't actually lust for that power. Like I want to help things change. I want to help things change, but like all the shit that you have to do to get to that power, I don't want the power that bad. And I think and these people do. And so Ron DeSantis. There's a dude in Ohio, not Tim Ryan, the author, J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance, that goofball.
J.D. Vance let Trump say in his home state that he's running for fucking Senate in, that this dude just kissed my ass. All he does is kiss my ass because he wants to support. And then after Trump said that, J.D. Vance went and got on stage with him and like hugged the dude, man. Like, I wish a motherfucker XO just wanted to kiss my ass so he can get a gig. You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you and the gig.
Man, it's amazing how terrible that, like, it's just odd, man. These guys, they talk like the Republican Party, or these people who are towing the line for the Republican Party right now, talk so much shit about being like strong alpha men who don't lose and blah, blah, blah. And the minute this one motherfucker shows up, everybody bends the knee to him. And it's like, I thought you were like, I'm the snowflake. I told this motherfucker to kiss my ass, and I'm the snowflake.
Yeah, it's it's incredible, man. It's incredible just how full of bitch a lot of these dudes are, and then they just turn around and talk about how tough and hard they're gonna be. Like these are the same dudes that called the mob to the Capitol and then ran like little. Like, here's the thing: if you are the man that calls the people to the Capitol, how do you not stand in the midst of that crowd, because that's what you wanted? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how backwards and cowardly they are, and somehow people are drawn to that. Like you sometimes you see people that like in movies and stuff like with just bad writing, where the character is just such a asshole, such a sniveling little snake that you're like, yeah, this would never work because no one would ever fall for that. And then you see this shit in real life, and you realize there are millions of people who would fall for that.
Yep.
There's way like too many people who are looking to fall for that.
Way too many. Oh, let me send you this new password real quick so we can get on here. I don't know how many people are watching this right now, but they're just gonna have to sit through me doing this.
That's cool.
There. I fixed it.
Okay.
So you should have that now.
I see it. All right. Cool.
Yeah. There's a short error.
So there's some crazy stuff that's happening. There are some places that Democrats are seem to be holding their own a little bit better than projected. I want to say. I expected is weird. The audience hasn't been privy to our conversations, but I was really believing that the Democrats were going to hold throughout this midterm because of the Roe decision and all the early energy, and also because turnout has been so high that traditionally turnout is positive for liberals. That's the standard.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's changed. And I don't know that it has changed. I mean, we're looking at early returns, and a lot of these places are places that Republicans were supposed to win anyway.
Right.
But I think a lot of places they were supposed to win anyway. But I am getting a little bit concerned, because it's one thing to lose the House, and there's going to be a lot of shenanigans and bullshit if they lose the House. But if they lose the House and the Senate, it is going to be 100% bullshit.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Yeah. Well, that's because they don't do any legislation. They're not interested in legislation. They're interested in dismantling everything. That is the issue that we're dealing with here, is that they're not interested in actually winning something. They're interested in dismantling it. You know what I mean? Like, and the other thing too is like, yeah, you're seeing a lot of incumbents who are winning right now. I think the reality is, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who are probably going to go out and vote who I don't think there's a lot of Democrats. Well, let me see if I can phrase this right. So when the abortion shit went down, there was this big push, right? And all of a sudden it was like, wow, the Democrats look like they may be able to do some shit with this abortion thing. It looks like maybe this could not be the red wave, you know, it may not be like it usually goes. It may be a thing where that's not what happens this time. And then as we've gotten closer to the actual election day, there's been this talk of like Republicans pulling close again. And the reason being because it's been about the economy and crime shit going on. But I don't feel like there's as many Democrats as you might think that voted Democrat in 18 and 20 who are sitting here in 2022 going Republican because they're having a problem with crime or that they don't get where inflation is coming from. I think you may have some people who may have sat out voting for a Republican before who may step in now and vote, or some people that were like, who may have voted for Biden, but maybe not a straight Democratic ticket, right? Like maybe they weren't into Trump, but they're not happy with inflation now, so maybe they're going to vote for Republicans down ballot. But they may have voted for Republicans down ballot before. Like there's not a lot of that that's like very clear as to what that is. And so my point is that until you start seeing returns, all this talk about races pulling closer is just the media talking about what the polls are reporting. But that is, as we've seen in elections for the last 6 years, is not quite necessarily what that means.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I'll give you an example. There's JD Vance, who we're just talking about, going against Tim Ryan in Ohio, which is a state that went for Trump by 8 points in 2020.
Right.
JD Vance is getting his ass handed to him right now. Pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, which I'm very happy about because that guy is such a dick.
And they do mail-in ballots there. And if you wonder if there's any mail-in ballots coming for, you know what I mean? Like see, this is the other thing too, is that because Democrats are in places where they can mail in ballots, Democrats are like, we're going to mail in ballots. Like that's still a big thing that's happening, which means if you see a Democrat up in a race right now in a place that like legit has mail-in ballots, the odds of them getting a lot more of those seem a lot higher to me, right? Like you can pretty much count that that's probably going to be what's going down, right? So
hey, you just reminded me. I've been saving a election day story, XL's election day story about just the type of bullshit that these election deniers have created. Now, I have over the years, if you've been a friend of mine on any social media and stuff, every time I vote, I usually take pictures. I usually like make a whole big thing of it. And was that me? Oh, sorry. And so I make a joke because people have huge lines and shit, and they're all over stuff. And my voting place used to be my clubhouse of my subdivision. I literally walk a block away. They have pizza and shit in there,
right?
Wi-Fi. Like I'm in there chilling. You know what I'm saying? I could have did the podcast with that motherfucker. Well, they moved it. They moved it to a church, which is to me problematic right out the gate. Although somebody told me that churches had to do that, big like mega churches, because of their tax, because they get a tax thing. That's like one of the things they have to do civic shit like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go to the church today. I have a mail-in ballot, but I didn't want to mail it in because what I typically do, the only reason I get the mail-in ballot is so I could look at some of the shit that isn't the upfront big known races. I have a chance to look up some stuff and see.
Yeah.
Hey, is this guy a dick? Just because he's a Democrat, I'm not voting for him. He's a dick. I might just leave it empty or whatever.
Right.
And so I'm going through looking at stuff. And anyway, I go to take it over there, and they tell me, oh, the Dropbox closed last night. You have to spoil that ballot and vote again, or take it to the other Dropbox on 95th Street, which is a few miles, like 4 miles away from my house.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not fucking spoiling my ballot because in my mind, my first thought was, oh, fuck no. I spoiled my ballot. I do it again. Then they're going to say I didn't vote or that my ballot didn't count or some shit like that. Like, no, I don't want to do that. So I go to the other place. And when I go to try to get in the drop box there, they tell me same shit. And tell me that I should go back to the other place that I was at. I ended up talking to 3 different election officials. And also, I want to say this. Even though the election officials were all very nice, they were all very helpful, they didn't know what to do. And the reason they didn't know what to do is because there were changes that they made since 2020 because assholes were saying that the election wasn't fair. They didn't trust it. So they did stuff to make changes of a system that worked really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah, that
so
worked
I wound
just
up
fine.
having to go to the fucking post office and just mailing it at the post office and making sure it got stamped saying that I came in today before the time, before 7 o'clock or whatever.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's now 8% in.
What's happening, guys?
Hey, what do you say, brother?
Hey, man, it has been an incredible afternoon. Is the mic working? Are you everything's good? You can hear
We can
me?
hear you. We hear you just fine.
Oh,
Can you hear him, Bobby?
Bobby, can
What's
you
wrong?
hear me?
Rob?
I can't hear Bobby. I can't hear Bobby.
Bobby, you went out. Can you hear us,
Yeah,
Bobby?
Bobby went out.
Bobby can't hear
No.
us. I can hear. Wait, let me
hear
see.
you either. We can't hear you.
His mic is on.
It says it said it was muted right there.
No, I just hit it to see if that's what happened. Bobby, you sure you didn't hear anything? I'm trying to see. Hold on. Hey, I'm gonna remove you from the stream for a quick second, Rob. I just want to see something. Hey, Bobby, say something. You still can't hear anything? It wasn't that. Okay, you're back, Rob. Hey guys, we're using new technology. We're using new technology, and for some reason, okay, Bobby took himself out of the stream. Maybe he's gonna jump back in. Tell everybody. I don't know how much. Can you talk about what you were doing?
Yes, I can tell everybody.
Why you joined late? Because you were doing some pretty cool shit.
Yes.
Go ahead, tell everybody what you were doing.
At the University of Southern California, Fight On, they are creating a synthetic kidney, right? And they are very close to being able to use it in humans. Right now, they're using it in mice. My dog has been here all by herself all day. So if you hear her, that's what it is. It's not me. And they asked me to do I did a piece for them before for their summertime thing. And that's the thing that had the horse walking past me. If you look at my Instagram, it's a shot of me with a horse in the background walking past. That was their summer event. It's called the University Kidney Research Organization. And they did their Christmas card and their Christmas video for fundraising. And they asked me to be a part of it. And I was overjoyed because I am a kidney patient. I don't know if you guys know this. I had kidney disease. I had kidney failure and was on dialysis for 11 years. And now I had a transplant in 2020. And just in case this kidney, blow out, then they can just put another. And this is the thing. They don't put the whole kidney in you. They put the elements of the kidney together and it grows inside of it.
They put the what? They put the what?
Hey, welcome back, Bobby. Hey, Bobby, do me a favor. Turn your mic down just a little bit.
Yeah.
You're a bit louder than the rest of us. You have the
How we doing now?
good mic.
We doing good now? Better?
I like it. You okay? You okay, Rob?
Is that still too loud? I can bring it down even more. Is that better?
You're good. You're good.
All right, cool.
It appears that you guys have already taken part in some herbal refreshment. I have not. I ran straight in and got on. Had to take the dog out because she had been in here since 10 o'clock. Didn't leave a drop of pee. No mess at all in the apartment.
Good girl.
Good
girl.
So Rob, I missed the kidney story, man. What's I have a friend who's got one kidney who's like down around 30%, another one that's down at 80 right now. So what's the situation with the kidney?
Okay, so now at the University of Southern California, they have this new synthetic kidney project. So they take these things called progenitors. These are like the essence of the kidney, I guess, like kidney cells.
Yeah,
and
the basics,
And they take 4 of them. I think there's like 30 of them or something. I don't, because the doctor would be so angry with me for trying to explain this and not being correct. But but they take 4 of them, they put them in you, then those grow into full kidneys. Do not know how long it takes, don't know anything of that, but it's a synthetic kidney made from your own cells.
Wow.
Stem cells. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they use like a oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? They attach the stem cells to like a lattice or like a structure, and then that kind of like grows out the kidney from that.
Absolutely, from my understanding.
That's amazing.
Yes. And I was doing their Christmas card. So they had me in this ugly Christmas sweater, and the actual researchers who work on it, they had me interrupting them. Hey, anybody want some kidney cookies? It was all type of crazy stuff. Want to see a Christmas movie?
Hey,
it's like, no, you want to work. Yeah.
That's amazing.
This is I always tell the story because this was one of the most amazing moments of my life, and nothing even happened to me. I just thought it was amazing that I got to be there. And one of the reasons why Rob is one of my best friends on the planet. I was with Rob. I was supposed to be going to Rob's house the day he got the kidney. I landed in Los Angeles, and when I turned my phone on to text him and say, hey man, I just landed, the first message I got was, hey man, they found me a kidney. I'm at the hospital. I landed.
You were going to go down to San Diego?
I can't remember if it was 6:30 or 7:30, but whatever time my plane landed was the exact time he went into surgery. He had left me the message like an hour or two beforehand, but he literally went into surgery when my plane landed, which I just thought was some crazy kismet shit.
That's amazing.
But it gets more amazing. I had a set of weekend shows in San Diego. I went down to San Diego for a couple of days. When I came back to Los Angeles, I went to see him in the hospital. I had the ability to stay at a hotel or stay someplace else. This motherfucker insisted that I stay with him the day he left the hospital for getting a new kidney.
Yeah.
Insisted.
Forever got the hospitality going on. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, he's one of the nicest people on the planet. I don't know if I can ever repay that. Like, if I won the lottery, if I won that $2 billion and I gave you half, I still feel like I think I still owe this nigga a little bit of time. That's how generous this was. His wife had just got a new car. He had got a new car that Rob hadn't even driven yet, and she let me drive it. Do you understand? A black woman let you drive her car, her new car, her brand new car. The man that she loved had never even drove that car yet. That's how nice.
Some people called me at like 5 in the morning and was like, "Yeah, we got." I was like, "Oh, I ran out the house so fast and got in the Uber so quick that I left my wallet. The wallet was still at the house." I'm like, "Well, I'll tell him it's me when I get to the hospital."
Right? Yeah. It's me. Here, pull up the video. Pull up. Pull up
my DNA and everything.
They'd be like, "Hey, man, you're not Toby Jones."
I was about to say they check ID when they giving you a fucking transplant, but now I think about it, they better check ID. I guess you don't want to be giving the wrong motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
No, but I guess you were the only one that knew that you had one today. I guess you're the only one that knew that you had a transplant.
I know what you went through. I think the God, the universe, spirits, everything, ancestors, that I have never had to go through that. But let me tell you something. If I ever did have to go through that, Rob, I would be hanging out at the hospital looking for niggas that look like me. There's a chance this nigga getting a kidney, then as soon as I'm knocking him upside the head. No, that's me. It says here you're 6'1". No, it's 6'7". Somebody wrote it wrong. Get me on the table. Shit.
Yep. That's how they tell if that's how they tell if it's the right kidney. They just gotta find a nigga that look like you. That's all it takes.
You got it,
man.
Should we do any blood tests? No, look at them, man. They look pretty close.
They both.
That's actually why XL couldn't be a doctor, because he's terrible at telling people that look alike. And so,
I'm horrible. Yeah. Oh, the motherfuckers do the wrong surgery. That shit happened. I would do that all day. I would. Oh my god.
He'd be like, "Damn, nigga, I put a heart in his kidney. Shit, I thought that was a kidney, dog. That's a heart."
I gave a kidney nigga a heart. The heart nigga a kidney. Damn.
That would totally
we
be
just
some
swap
shit
him
that
back.
you
Bring
do.
him back in. Bring him back in. We just swapped the motherfucker.
It's my first day. It's my first day. Come on.
You
Rob,
made that mistake.
Rob, do you have any? The election's currently going on. Returns are starting to come in. Do you have any? Do you have any feeling prediction? Do you think they're gonna? Do you think the Democrats will
You got a
keep
bunch
either?
of projections about to pop. About to
I know. Do you think the Democrats are going to keep either the House or the Senate? Both.
The only prediction that I can solidly make is white people win.
Oh,
White
that's
people
another.
win.
You might be right. You might be right on that one.
Hey, you know what? I wasn't gonna say this, but since you made that joke, I'm gonna tag this on the end of the story about Rob at the hospital. One of the most beautiful things about seeing Rob at the hospital was not a single white person came in the motherfucking room. Not one of the doctors was white. The only white person came in the room was a fucking orderly that had to had to carry this nigga downstairs when it was time for him to go. That was the only
that was
white
weird.
person that made an appearance.
USC. This University of Southern California, baby. They let everybody in.
Uh-huh.
Everybody.
Yep.
Hey guys,
Yep.
I know that I
They
was
look
late
kinda
getting
cool without the
here.
light on.
I know I
So
was
what-
late getting here, but you know I haven't smoked any weed yet. So there's
Yeah, you
that.
should smoke weed. I have to when I took a couple edibles and I've got my vape pen, but I may have to let you guys vamp a little bit when I step out to hit the vape pen because I got to do it off camera today. I'm in a crib where I can't smoke weed inside, so I got a deck that's like my deck is literally 2 feet away from me, and so I just gotta lean out the door and hit that motherfucker. What?
I'm so sick of him bragging all the time. I got a fireplace. I got this. I got that. I'm Bobby. I'm amazing. You know what? I'm so sick of hearing this.
Hey, listen, you know what I don't got? Mechanical
What's up?
royalties, nigga. Hey, we gonna have to pay, dog. Shut the fuck up.
I know the nigga that owned the song.
Nah, man, I ain't saying shit. I fuck around, get come for. I'll get there'll be a sheriff at my goddamn house when I get home, serving me papers or something. No, thank you. I'm just gonna say the brother from the commercial. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Are you eating another edible?
No, I'm eating a keto cookie.
Oh, look at you.
Man, I just learned
Your
how to
cookie
make
knows karate?
keto butter keto butter cookies, nigga. If I
Kung-
get these
Kung Fu
butter
cookies.
cookies down, it's on.
Yeah, I got the double chocolate chip Quest cookie. It's pretty dope. It's the winner. Still eating steaks every day though. Steaks or burgers every day. Goddamn, I had a 12-ounce fillet or a 12-ounce New York strip down in Santa Monica the other night. That was insane. That shit blew me away.
It's insane, man. I don't remember the last time I had a steak. I here's this crazy thing. I don't eat red meat solely because I'm a giant motherfucker. It's the only reason why I don't eat red meat. Like there's some stuff when you my size, there's things you just gotta eliminate. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat red meat, fuck 30-year-olds, and do cocaine. You gotta like cut at least one of those out. And I chose red meat.
So I, as someone who has read a lot of shit from in a group where there are tall guys who eat nothing but red meat, I would challenge that those are 3 things you could do. There's actually other shit you'd have to cut out.
I cut out the drinking. Shit.
Yeah, that's too simple of a thing you're talking about. You gotta like the guys I know that are your size that eat red meat. That's pretty much all they eat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
Wow,
I probably got a football field on them in weight though.
You know what?
There's a reason why.
that.
That's actually how they got that down. They stopped doing the other shit. Pretty much, it's just like if I keep it to the red meat, then I'm all good.
This is an election special, not an XL Dad special.
We gonna get you there one way or another. Surprise, surprise! A white Republican is projected to win in Arkansas. I don't know if you guys know.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Hey,
Yeah, you know what? I'm tryna-
a white dude's projected to beat a black lady in Arkansas. They barely counted 100,000 votes in this fucking state. They've already been like, white dude.
Yeah,
You
white
know
dude don't
something
win.
that's interesting, man, is that I think if the Democrats do not hold as like I thought they would hold, I think we're gonna find out that black people didn't come out and vote like they thought they would, because they're I can't. Jesse Jackson's daughter has a talk show, a morning radio show.
What's her name?
I can't think of her
Jackson?
name. I don't think it's Francine. It's another one. I can't remember her name. I feel like she has like an African name, but I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But anyway, I don't really listen to her show because
Is she one of the legit daughters? Is she one of the?
she's using the name.
I mean, shit. If I was an illegitimate
Operation,
Jackson daughter, I'd use the name too.
I mean, and she did Operation Push shit and all that.
Okay,
shit all the time.
okay.
But I think she's based out of Minnesota, but she broadcasts in Chicago. Whatever.
Ashley, Shanita, and Jacqueline.
Shanita Jackson show, 7 a.m. on 8:20 a.m. Chicago. I forgot what it is. I forgot what the initials for the radio. So, anyway,
So what
Chicago.
the point is, the thing I want to say is, there was a lot of angry black people on there that were talking about not voting, and this was, I don't think I've really listened to it probably since the summer. Her show it ends at, it's like from 6 to 8. And I'm not listening to the radio that early in the morning. That's why I usually don't listen to it. But I'll catch her like sometimes when I have to go out. I catch the end, and it was constantly angry black people. But this was before Biden did the student loan thing. This was before Ketanji Jackson Brown was put in as a judge, Ketanji Brown Jackson, excuse me. It became a justice. That a lot of this was happening, and I think they thought.
Carry on. I'm gonna go out here and hit this weed real quick and be back.
I think people believe that there was going to be.
Yeah, what was the problem?
Real quick, the fact that MSNBC has gotten rid of Tiffany Cross, I'm kind of done with them. Outside of Rachel, this is an election special. I'm gonna watch tonight, but fuck MSNBC. Even the people that's on our side are not on our side. I'll be right back with Reefer and Anger.
I'm real salty about that Tiffany Cross shit too. Tiffany's show was great. I love that.
Yeah,
show.
I don't want to get into it till Rob gets back because I want to discuss the sequence. Like there was a sequence of events that happened. Then all of a sudden she was gone, and I did not realize. Like I thought I'd seen you kind of mention it at one point, or we were having a conversation where I think you had mentioned it at one point, but I wasn't. I'll be honest, I wasn't. Either I didn't hear it the way that you were saying it, or I wasn't quite paying close enough attention because I didn't catch that you were saying that she wasn't on anymore. And so now when Rob just brought up, I was like, oh, they really got rid of her? Because that brought me back to an article I had read from Michael Harriot. Well, I'll wait for Rob to get back. And we'll talk about this.
But I'll just finish the point I was saying about I'm concerned that possibly the black vote didn't come out in places everywhere. It looks like they came out in Georgia, but maybe they didn't come out in Florida.
So what I have seen a lot more of recently, and I think the Kanye and the Kyrie situations have made it even more of a visual thing, is that the concept of blackness as a monolith seems to be more fragmented than ever before.
Yeah.
Like it used to be, black people in America were all slaves. And then black people in America were Christians and like free Christians, essentially. And then it was black people in America were like Christians and Muslims, but at least they were all believing in God. But they all kind of rolled the same way, right? Like we're trying to be free, trying to aspire, trying to assimilate, trying to get shit together. And then black Americans in this country were like doing well and very like workers and getting blue collar jobs into unions and Democrats and really pushing on, it used to be like when after the Southern strategy shit happened, the number of black Republicans was like nil, right? And more frequently lately, I'm seeing a lot more black people who don't like. I mean, obviously the anti-Biden shit is big, right? Black people shitting on Biden is big, but I see a lot more black people really pushing back against Democrats, and a lot more with really like right-wing talking points.
Yeah.
Talking points that seem to verge on white nationalism, the same conspiracy Trumpish, QAnonish kind of shit, but from like the black perspective, which is like, you know, which is like, it's like half of my football coaches from when I was a kid would probably be right-wing Republicans. Like the black football coaches I had would probably be Republicans that are like fed up because Biden isn't like the type of man they like. You know what I mean? It's like, because Biden's okay with abortions, and they're, you know, there's this part of black men that like are concerned about losing black babies, even though we don't necessarily always want to be around for them either. But you know what I mean? Like there's a larger steady stream of black people who are not just disillusioned enough to not vote, but disillusioned enough to think that there's something better coming from the right. And I don't know, I don't see where it's benefiting them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not catching I mean, fucking white Christian chicks. I mean, that's the only
dude. Hey man, I think I'm not gonna get to the whole thing because I don't want to talk about this guy too much. But I was literally just at the barbershop a couple of weeks ago, and this 25-year-old kid, brother, was ranting about how we didn't need civil rights or feminism anymore, and he had like these crazy right-wing talking points, and this dude was, you know, sharp brother, he looked like a young Puffy, right? Like, looking at him, you would never expect him to be like a Tucker Carlson fan. And I don't know that he was. There was the dude he was talking. What's the brother's name that passed away? He had a heart attack. That used to shit on women all the time.
Oh God, what the fuck was his name?
We were just talking about him.
I know, we were talking about him like a week or two ago.
Anyway,
yeah.
There's another dude, I guess that was like one of his partners or a peer of his that he follows his philosophies or whatever. And he like had this whole like ideology of how like women, that feminism actually hurt women and they really didn't want it. They didn't want to be independent, that they're all miserable and sad. And I was like, I don't know the women you know. That's not the story of the women I know.
I would like to present the actual problem here, and this is going to seem consistent with how I tend to approach this, but I'm going to present the actual problem here. And the actual problem in this situation, and why you're seeing a lot of I think why you're seeing a lot more black people and black men specifically moving to the right, is capitalism.
Okay.
It's capitalism. Because it's one thing to have a stance on abortion, but that's not going to make you support right-wing shit. But if you own a business now, because maybe you did get the benefit of some shit that maybe a generation or two before you didn't have, and now you
UPP right.
Now you own a business, and you've been running. You know, you're the kid of a ball player. Your dad got a chance to go to school because of affirmative action, and now you experience that different kind of racism where you're a black kid who had shit, and so now you take on that same elitist. But you take on a parallel elitist attitude to white people who have privilege. And it's not exactly the same. It's this thing where you feel aggrieved because poor black people either need shit from you all the time or give you shit for the way that you behave. Maybe you talk very white or whatever the thing is, right? Like, anybody with money has trouble understanding why people who don't have as much money as them would dare to make fun of them, because we've made having money here such a big deal that even black people, the originators of the dozens, right? Like, like once you get to that millionaire status, all of a sudden you turn into an elite pussy. You can't let nobody, all of a sudden you can't take a joke no more about what you got.
But the thing about that too is it's not just that niggas won't let you, like, no matter how much you roast somebody, if that person you're roasting has more money than you, then I'm like, yeah, but he, you broke compared to that motherfucker, so and like, what the fuck does that have to do anything? It's like, if somebody makes a lot of money doing something, that means they were really good at doing something. They figured out a thing. That doesn't make them a good person. It just makes it that they did that one thing good.
But the thing that comes along with that is the more, as you start seeing the success start to happen, you start seeing people who end up getting into rooms where they can be appealed to on an economic level. And because a lot of those guys are all, I mean, this has been a Christian country largely since its foundation. I'm not saying it's a Christian nation. I'm saying a lot of the population here has been Christian, right? Yeah. And black people became Christians because it was getting them out of the fucking off the plantation on Sundays, and they thought it was a chance to get freedom at one point when they said if you were a Christian, you didn't have to be a slave anymore. That was an easy way to get conversion, right?
And then once we start writing them songs, it was over.
And so a large percentage of the black population in this country comes from Christianity. So if you can make an appeal about things that are Christian based, right? Being a strong man for your family and being anti-gay people and all, like the things that you play on that have been fears in the black community and things that we struggle with, even though it is very prevalent in our community, which is one of the reasons why we struggle with it, right? Is that's a thing that is actually more prevalent than we'd like to talk about. And so that scares a lot of people. Because people don't like to introspect because we've been raised to hold all that shit back. So we can't be introspective. Got to close all that. Well, what does that sound like? That sounds just like these rich white motherfuckers. It's the same shit, but from a different angle.
So there is very. I agree with you. I just think the math is a little bit different, just a little bit different.
1,000%.
First of all, they yanked out their central nervous system when they brought you here. Anything that sent you back to where you were great, they took it away from you. And what they gave you in return is their magical God that will solve all their problems if they just believe him. So the reason why black dudes is voting more Republican, it's really not that many of them, not that much of them to even make a blip, other than the fact that the nation is so closely divided. But here's the thing. The reason black dudes is doing this is exactly what Bobby was saying. Plus, and old niggas are already beat down so much by the system that they cannot conceive you behaving in a way that the system does not approve of. Right? And it's not just them. Get out, baby. It's not just them. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying, like, when I say that, I don't mean it's not just, I'm just saying it's not just that, but that is a large degree of it. I myself will look at a young person and be like, oh my God, why are you doing that? And in my heart, the only reason I feel that way is because I don't want the white people's attention. I do not want to be bothered with their police. I do not want to have to fight these motherfuckers no more. I do my best to stay in due bounds.
Yeah, there's. Go ahead, X.
Yeah, I mean, that shit is real. I can't remember who said this, but Will Smith's kids, when they was like, they were in the news all the time just because they were just different. They those two kids are cool as fuck, man. I listened to I can't remember Jaden. I can't believe I forgot the kid's name. It's my son's name. Jaden's music is awesome. I really like it. Anyway, my point is, somebody said the reason why everybody is freaking out about Will Smith's kids is that's the first time you've seen black kids be free. It's the first time you've seen black kids be actually free, where they could just go out and be weird and do what the fuck they wanted to do because their dad was the coldest motherfucker on the planet at the time.
And you don't have to carry the weight. And their mom was
cold too.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't have to carry the weight of the entire race right now lets you do whatever the hell you want to do, because at the end of the day, it is all about capitalism. It is all about capitalism, because if you can't get the money, you can't move.
Well, and the other thing too is that this idea, like the argument or the thing that the right argues from an economic standpoint is that it's just a matter of you having to put out the effort. And if you just put out the effort, then the result would come. And if you're not getting the result, then it's because you're not putting out enough effort. And so that tends to lead people who get any bit of success to look at those who don't in a weird way. And that is a problem because that's just not how it actually works. You get people get a leg up all the time. People get a small favor, a micro favor here and there all the time. We've worked in sales. You know that if you introduce yourself the right way, if there's a click, if you build a rapport, people are more likely to go ahead and say okay. Right? When it comes to getting a loan, it's not just an algorithm. I mean, there are some places you can go get a loan where it's just an algorithm, but most places you go get a loan, some of the approval or denial is literally just based on somebody deciding whether they think so or not when they meet you.
Yeah.
That's literally it. For people who don't own a business or have never had to literally go get a business loan, when you go through that process, part of the approval is literally the person across the table in conversation with you, deciding based off of that and whether they think you're a fucking idiot or not to give you money. That's literally it. Which means at some point, somebody has to have decided to do you a favor. Which means there's nothing about now maybe you worked hard on yourself to be likable, but I'm a likable guy, but not everybody likes me. So you could sit in front of 10 people who could have given you loans and they could have all said no because whatever the thing was, it didn't line up. Right? There's always no one gets there by themselves unless they fucking murder everybody along the way. There just isn't there is another version of that, right? Not in the way that not in this thing where you have to be picked along the way, which means you always, whether it's a real O or whether you just feel somewhat indebted somewhere, you do. And it's just not available for everybody, not in capitalism. We have finite resources. You can't grow infinitely. It's impossible to grow infinitely when you have finite resources. That's not real. That's not a thing that can happen. So these guys are but the other part of that is that I've realized as I've become less entangled with status and that part of it, I want people to do well. I want things to be better, but I'm less entangled. I don't want a Bugatti. I don't. It would seem weird for me to have one with the world as it is, right? I don't feel comfortable with that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I feel like that is so far away from what the rest of the country operates under. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even people I see that espouse very liberal ideas and thoughts, you know what I mean? You're on a dating app and it's ACAB, Black Lives Matter. I want to hang out on a boat this summer. And it's well, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? How you going to get on? Whose boat you getting on? Except somebody who is believing the exact opposite of the shit you talking about. You know what I mean?
Ain't a whole lot of Black Lives Matter boats.
No, there's not a lot of ACAB boats out on the water right now. You know what I'm saying?
There is a black boat weekend in the city, but that's a whole separate thing.
Right.
That's
they may not be. Here's the thing. They may not be ACAB either. Some of those guys are cops.
Oh, they're all cops.
I
just remember that. They're all cops. I just remembered that shit. That's why I don't go to those
time out 20 seconds.
Just remember, they're all fucking cops.
Man, you just hit a nerve, bro. You just hit a nerve. I know we got to look at election results in a sec, but I'm just saying, you just hit a nerve, Bobby. Let me tell you something, man. And I love telling this truth. When I got to the jail and I realized what was happening around me, now I didn't realize it to the degree that I realize it now, but I knew, this is bullshit and this is bullshit. None of this matters, and I ain't got to do none of this shit. Right at the time I realized that, and after you get your year in, you can do what the fuck you want to do. They can't just fire you. But for that first year, every ass they tell you to kick, you have to kick. So here's the thing. The people who get the most play are the people who show a degree of commitment to the system that is so high that they can always count on you to do things and not tell anybody. You understand what I'm saying? But first you got to kiss enough ass So they got to figure out of all the asses that kisses theirs, which ones they find the easiest to get shit done with. And if you go and do dumb shit and dirty shit, they will gladly promote you. Gladly.
And so
Yeah, absolutely.
what people need to understand is we are entering what may turn into. We may be heading towards authoritarianism if right now the Senate. I mean, it's still fucking 11 races to go, but right now Republicans are up 40 to 39. I don't know what that means because I don't know where the
Right
for different states are.
This is inedible.
Let me just make this one other point, brother. I'm so sorry for interrupting you. The reason I mentioned that is because these old dudes were into buying things to let young chicks know that they had them. You follow what I'm saying? So like it was a bunch of dudes who bought boats. A bunch of dudes. A bunch of dudes bought mobile homes. You know, stuff to let people know that you're doing okay, so that when you around chicks, they more likely to come to you.
Yep.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. The coldest party I ever went to in Chicago that I wasn't supposed to be at, I accidentally went to a Chicago policeman's pool party. And me and my boy Q that came out to our show, Bobby.
Yeah.
We just saw a bunch of bad women walking in bikinis and shit into a pool party, and we were like, "Hey, we following this shit. What's going on?" Because it was so many, and everybody that was a cop but us.
Yeah.
I've never been more scared in my life. But anyway, back to this political shit. I wanted to say the authoritarian shit that I was talking about. There's a video I'll post up on my Instagram later. You following us, you can check it out. I'll post it. There was a blind white dude that got stopped by a female cop. It was two cops, a dude and a female cop. But she said she thought he had a weapon. He had a cane. He had a retractable cane, and he had put it in his back pocket, right? And she said she thought he had a weapon. He was like, "I don't have anything. It's my cane." And he showed it to her. And he said, "See, it's just a cane." And he starts to walk away. She goes, "What's your name and address, whatever?" And he was like, "What? What for?" And she says, "I thought you had a weapon." And he goes, "Well, you saw I don't have a weapon. It's a cane." Anyway, they go back and forth. They wind up arresting him for resisting arrest. A blind white dude. That was just like he wasn't completely blind. He could see a little. It was daytime, and he was
like Ben Noble blind.
Yeah, exactly. And it was dark. He was coming from fucking jury duty. When he went in for jury duty, it was still dark. He needed the cane. It was daylight. He didn't need the cane anymore. And they fucking arrested him just walking down the street, man. Like this. And if when you watch the video, the dude is literally he's just trying to walk away. And she just keeps fucking with him. And then she's like, "Where's your supervisor?" Her supervisor is like pulled up in the next car. And he doesn't miss a beat. He just jumps right in with her. Doesn't give the man any humanity at all. No respect. No like, "Hey, sir, what's going on here?" Like he sees that she is giving him shit. So he just goes right in with it. Like not a single smidgen of, "Hey, what's happening here? How can I help you? How can I protect and serve you, sir?" None of that shit. And that was a white guy. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers are monsters, man. And if Republicans have a good night tonight, we are one step closer to that type of shit happening across the board. It's not just gonna be black people's problems no more. You motherfuckers gonna see they already took women's rights away. They are serious about the shit they say they want to do.
I'm telling y'all, man, if they repeal interracial marriage, I will just turn to dust like Infinity War.
Oh shit!
It'll be like the blip, dog. I'll be gone. Mrs. Stark. I'm out of here, bro. I'll be out. I'll be out of here. Right now, it looks like in the Senate there has been no gain or loss of seats, so everything is held serve so far in the Senate. As far as those races are concerned, when it comes to the House, it looks like there's a +2 for the Republican Party right now.
Okay.
in House races, at least as far as what they've declared. We'll see how it's still panning out. But yeah, they're what is this? Oh, they're just showing old shit up there now. But yeah, that's where it's looking right now. And then on the governor side of things, the Democrats looks like they're picking up 2 spots in governors. Too bad that doesn't mean anything. I mean, having the most governors doesn't really get you anything, does it? Does it get you home court advantage in a civil war?
Yeah, it does get you something.
That's a great. We won the coin flip. we won the coin flip. We get Kentucky.
Yeah, man, that'd be crazy. It's just like, oh, well, we're about to have a civil war, and there's 53 Democratic governors, so y'all get home field advantage. Which guns would you like to kick it off with?
Hold on, time out. I want people to understand that we understand that there's only 50 states, so there could only be 50 governors. First off, maybe Puerto Rico, but I'm not sure how that works. I just want people to understand that Bobby was just on a roll right there. He just ate edible.
The weed and the concept were feeling so good. I just went with a random. I just went with the number that sounded great, and I was like, 53 sounds good.
I was like 53 governors.
I just heard it and just let it go. Like
that's
not even
Puerto
worth
Rico,
mentioning. You know,
that's Puerto Rico, DC, and the Virgin Islands. I guess, nigga. I don't know.
Hey, the way I figure is if Obama could get it wrong, so could Bobby. Shit.
Yeah, why don't we all listen? We are of the same. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good look for mulattoes that we don't know those numbers.
Hey, you know, I have a weird theory. I have one of my weird like mushroom theories. I think time travel is real, and Obama is a nigga from the future. And here's why I believe this. Think about this. This is a black man that became president, survived 8 years, elected twice, survived, and now he's the coolest motherfucker on the planet. That, like, if you do the time travel thing, like I'd go back in time, what would you do? This is what I would do. He's rich, his wife is fine, his kids are brilliant, he has full-time security and is mostly beloved. Like,
I don't know, man. I feel like if I go back in time, I would have handled some of the shit a little bit better than he did. I'd have been more prepared. X, here's what I actually think it is. Hold on. Here's what I actually think it is. If you were black and got to become the president and nobody killed you, how the fuck cool do you think you would feel after that shit was over?
Did he scream that like January 20th, 2016 or 17?
He was
I
like,
survived. Because like nobody's
you
gonna
know
kill an
what?
ex-president.
You be at the casino and it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you believe these hogs didn't kill me?
It was close. It was close. There was one time in Miami. I thought I was a gunner, but
you think that nigga's cool now? Of course that nigga's cool now. You'd be cool too, man.
I hate to be the dude to piss at the punch bowl, but I just want to point out, if they didn't kill you, that's probably for a reason too. You know what I'm saying? Why kill the goose that's laying the golden egg?
Let me explain something to you. I have walked into houses where I just knew there was going to be like a few white people, and I have left my personal information in the car just in case. Okay, I couldn't imagine like ascending to the presidency and then walking into certain rooms where it's just like white senators or whatever the fuck, or some Secret Service use. You're like,
the Cattlemen's Association.
I'd be like, I wouldn't go anywhere without my closest homie all the time, because I'd be like, you need to check that nigga right there and check that nigga right there. No, you ain't bringing me food. Only my people bringing me my food. This nigga was the president for 8 years, and he let people he never met before make him food. Get the fuck out of here. There'd be no way. Listen,
No. Michelle's mom that was there the whole time. I'm pretty sure she was cooking.
I got a homie I know from high school who's a badass chef in the city. That nigga would be instantly hired if I won the presidency, because I would need somebody who I would be sure would give me my shit right.
Right.
See, it'd be like that. The Nation of Islam would have to be brought in the Secret Service. We'd have to change all that shit up.
That's
what I want. Hey, call the minister.
Listen, I ain't gonna convert, but I will pay your man well. Okay, you can add it.
I got that dough, baby. Run them.
That's why I know there's no chance that they let me win $1 billion in the lottery. I didn't even play last night because FOI would be all my security. It'd be a whole bunch of brothers with bow ties and bean pies around me.
Couldn't have it no other way.
There's no way. So it's not looking like it's, I think they said that Republicans would need to win 5 seats to take the House. Is that was right? 5 seats?
Yes. Yeah.
And right now they're at a +2, so not enough at the moment. So I just need a hold. I need at least a hold. Can I get a hold on some shit?
Yeah, man. Man,
if you can hold the House, we can make the rest of it happen.
Hey, I said +2 in my prediction. I wasn't saying when I said that, I wasn't saying that they were going to win 2 more. I was saying that we were gonna have 2 more at the end of the night. That it was gonna be that close. It was gonna be that narrow of a win.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's tight.
If they come anywhere near even in this situation, they have more than performed. And the reason why is because they already gerrymandered the hell out of the country. They have made it so fewer people control more shit. And that is the name of the game throughout history forever.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think this might have been the last time they think they're going to get away with that shit. And the reason being, by time 2030 hits, the population is going to have made such a shift. And they're going to be so much fewer, their numbers are going to be so much smaller, and ours are going to be so much bigger that it may be more problematic for them to do that, unless the shit that we were talking about earlier, the class warfare within our own community happens, and they sway.
Totalitarianism. It's just not. As soon as it's more of other people than white people, they shutting the whole government down. They're going to change everything. Nothing will be the same. Let me tell you something. I don't know if y'all know this. Let me just make this one quick point. The only reason Watergate went the way it did is because it was white guys judging white guys. As soon as more black people and women got into the political realm, everything, all the rules changed. As soon as they change. So as soon as white men don't run shit, this thing will not be this thing anymore.
Well, I think the actual thing that you're going to find is that the effort that's being made here, as you can, and we talked about this a little earlier, with the amount of black dudes have started to shift over to the Republican Party. The goal is to control even in a minority standpoint, right? Like you don't have to have a revolution if you can maintain control, even though there's not more of you than everybody else. The Nazi Party, I don't think ever got more than 30-some% of the vote. They never held more than a third of the vote. You don't need to have most of the people being you. You just got to have control over the narrative. Well, if you control the narrative, you can get a lot of the shit you want done.
The difference there, though, is that they had a multi-party system. They didn't have it wasn't a 2-party system. So 30%.
They still never got it.
It wasn't power. It wasn't enough for power. But yeah, I agree. But if you only had 30% here, you wouldn't be able to push as much. I think it would be harder to push as much with only 30% here. You need at least 40.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the amount of control you could exert. It doesn't. I'm not talking about having 33% of the Senate or House being Republican. I mean the people in the country that actually believe in the shit you're talking about.
Okay.
Right. like the actual people that believe your shit only being 30%. But like Rob said, through gerrymandering and shit like that, if you set the lines in the right place, you can have less people who believe in your shit, but because the way you've drawn the lines out, you'll get more victory. I mean, that's what happened in Wisconsin. Speaking of which, in Wisconsin right now, Mandela Barnes is looking like he's up by about 5%, and it's over the 50% mark in Wisconsin over Ron Johnson. That's with 27% reporting. That is without a lot coming in from Milwaukee just yet. There's a bunch of districts still not in, but Mandela Barnes is looking not terrible at the moment. I would not be.
Ron Johnson is like an 80s teenage movie creep. Like not the teenage guy, but like the old dude that's like fucking with the teenagers. Like,
I keep getting older. I keep getting older. They keep saying the same age.
Damn it, I'm gonna get you, Parker. You know, that fucking guy or whatever. Yeah, like he's such a bag of dicks. He's just like a rich jackass. And like he says, this motherfucker, reporters were asking him about him having fake ballot, not fake electors, trying to send fake electors from Wisconsin, trying to get paperwork to Mike Pence. And they were questioning him. I'm not sure.
A little bit of.
Yeah, I think that was Bobby because he just stopped. It stopped. Yeah, he hit something to stop. But yeah, that reporter was trying to question him about some shit, and his ass gonna grab his phone and act like he's on a call. But you can see the screen clearly. He wasn't on the call. He's gonna try. That's how he tried to get out and answer the question. He's a piece of shit, is what I'm trying to say. And I hope that he loses. I really, really hope they loses. I want to see him cry, and I want to see him claim that the election wasn't fair, and that it was rigged when he was the motherfucker in power. You were the senator, so if it was rigged, that happened on your watch, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But you putting reason in some shit that ain't reasonable. It doesn't matter.
Like, so you mean to tell me that while you were a senator of the state, the election was rigged, so you don't have enough juice as senator to make sure that the state election isn't run correctly?
Yeah.
You're a shitty senator, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's a clown. It's so interesting because I haven't met anybody personally in Wisconsin, and I lived there for 3 years, who was a Ron Johnson fan. I don't know anybody there who is a Ron Johnson fan.
Hey man, you gotta spend some time up in.
I just want to get back to Tiffany Cross.
Well, okay, we are. Yeah. Yes. I just want to say this real quick, Bobby. Spend some time in area that we know, west, whatever. There's plenty of motherfuckers up there.
Yeah.
Outside Wisconsin. I mean, outside Milwaukee.
You mean
Tiffany Cross. Let's give it a Tiffany Cross. Bobby, you had some shit about Tiffany Cross that you were saving for Rob.
Yeah. So I just wanted to have Rob here when we were going to actually have the discussion, so that because it was funny because XL had mentioned something a couple of days ago about Tiffany Cross being out or something like that. And I didn't know that he meant like she was gone for good. I thought she was just off for a minute. And then you said something about a minute ago, and I was like, oh shit, she must be she off. They fire her? And I thought that was interesting because like even before XL had told me that, like a couple of days before that, there was an article written by Michael Harriot who was talking about how Tucker Carlson had labeled her a racist. Is that what she got fired for?
Yes, that's part of it. It was a couple of things that she said, and Tucker Carlson.
I quit. Yep. I quit. I quit. Yeah, man.
I'll tell you what I heard.
No. Megyn Kelly, she roasted Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly came for her. Megyn Kelly said her name. Tiffany Cross wasn't out here picking fights with Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly got in Tiffany Cross's shit on her show, and Tiffany Cross roasted the fuck out of her. I don't know if you ever seen that. I will find a clip. Excuse me. Sorry for coughing into the mic. I'll find a clip while we're talking, man. She destroys her.
Really?
She comes out almost like rapper style. She's like, first off, didn't I kill this bitch already? But she didn't say bitch. I think she said chick. Didn't I kill this chick already? Wait a minute, run it back. And she plays the video behind she wrecked Megyn Kelly before. It's like, I thought, so she back for more? And then she just starts going in on her, man. It was nasty. It was some rapper shit. And that, like, she had the highest rated show. So clearly the audience was riding with her. You know what I'm saying? And they're about to see, because, like, when they got rid of, I used to love Harry Paris Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Harris. MPH.
Yes.
Anyway, I used to dig her.
Who'd you love?
So much. I'm hot. But I loved her show. I loved her show so much. And when they dropped
Harry Pussy Mary.
Melissa.
Yeah, I love Harry Pussy.
Harris Perry. God damn it. Anyway.
Mary Harry Pussy.
When she dropped, I was mad, but then they put Joy Reid in.
Right.
And I dug Joy Reid. So I was like, I give Joy Reid a chance. I don't want to shit on Joy Reid because they put another sister in. And when Joy moved, that shit was, she put Tiffany in that spot. They made it appear like she put Tiffany in that spot.
Right.
And I feel like she did put Tiffany in that spot because the way that Joy reacted the day that they fired Tiffany, she ended her show and she was basically like, yeah, to all you right-wing people that talking stuff about my sister, that's my sister. So you will see, like, this ain't over.
See how we move.
You're gonna see how we move. You're gonna see her sisters move. All right, so basically, like, cause Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and all of them were tap dancing because they won.
This is the way it unfolded, from my understanding. Maybe not the chronology of it.
Let me get a feeling for what the fuck went down, because I didn't really catch what happened.
Okay, so at one point or another, just like he said, old girl came for her first. She laid her down. Pow! Hit her in the head. And so in between all of that, she was making other whole girl came back again. She pop her again, leave it there, and she pop her so cold, man. He ain't lying. It was thing of beauty. So then after that, she goes on a couple of shows and says some things. Like at one point, I think it was on Charlamagne the God show where she was like, let's just be honest. Florida is just the penis, the dick of the country, and we should just have it cut off. Right. And she said that, and then at another time, I'm trying to remember what the other thing was she said. And then, but I'll tell you this: Tucker Carlson did a whole segment on her.
Yeah. Michael Harriot talked about that in his column. Yeah.
Did you hear what he said? He said at one point she was calling for a genocide of white women. Like, Are you serious, homie?
Right.
Really? This is what you're saying? And then MSNBC folded like a cheap suit.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. And the thing about it was they didn't even give the sister a chance to say goodbye.
Yeah. Well, because
Tucker Carlson said exactly, talked about the Comcast company and how they had to make a decision and all this other shit, and they caved.
That's it's so fucking disappointing, man, because it's just like, I'm an optimist, and I try and I know Rob oftentimes comes back to this point of just like, well, in the end, white people are going to win, and that is it's a standpoint that kind of echoes Clarence Thomas's kind of take on the world. And so I have to push back on that, because Clarence Thomas is anti-affirmative action, because he's just like, fuck that, because that's just some shit white people doing to fucking have something to say they did some nice shit for us for, and then we gotta be indebted to them. So I don't want to do that, even if that means that a lot of my people don't get shit. I'd rather nobody get shit.
Going crazy in the background.
You know what I mean? Like that's some but like shit like that though, where it's just like there's no reason why her show should be off the air. Yeah. There just isn't.
None at all.
There just isn't. You know what I mean? Like,
and she cracked wise about Herschel Walker. She cracked wise. She said something to the respect of, Herschel Walker is the stereotypical black man that every white person used to hate, or something like that. She said something about Herschel Walker, and after all of that, they just was like, we don't want none. And that's the thing. Her show gave the perspective of blackness from old to young, She covered every aspect of
Dude,
social blackness.
Blackness. She also the Latino community. She showed mad
The
love.
diaspora.
She had even the Asian community. She made it a point to like.
What about
like,
Hindus, XL?
Huh?
What about the Hindus, XL?
She had
She did not
some of those
Hindu,
on too.
but she did native. She had native while you're trying to be funny, but she
No. She had that
did
dude.
not
It's a
have
comedy
native.
podcast. God forbid.
I know. I fuck with you. But she she had she literally like tried to have any. If you had a voice, you had something out there, she put them on. Wherever she goes, man, I'm gonna try to support, and not try to. I'm gonna support because I dug what she did. I dug the way she did it because she did it very, very fucking real,
Very sister-like.
unapologetic.
She knew just the
Very
right amount of titty to
unapologetic.
show every week. Every week, she knew just the right. Like she was like, okay, I gave y'all
She really
200 titty
did.
last
It
week.
was
I'm gonna give you a little bit. Sometimes she put a little glitter on them. It was beautiful.
man. They'd be all shiny.
There's definitely something to that because I was showing somebody some Tiffany Cross videos one time, and it was a woman I was showing them to, and they kept commenting like, she's always got her blouse at like just a certain level, right? Like, and the camera always cuts it off where it's like it's not even full cleavage. It's just enough to be like, hey man, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, like damn, you know.
And that's how they. When she started the show, sometimes she would stand up and then walk away from the camera just for me, or just for people like me. I say,
Hey man, that's how they sell 70-inch TVs.
Right.
You know, if my screen was bigger.
man, my goodness. I'm saying Tiffany Cross is fine.
Yeah.
And,
Also,
like, so-
also out of a job now, so she needs somebody who's got a little baby dough to put up for a little bit. So
very, very. She was
Barbecue
legit
and
funny.
foot massage, Tiffany.
Hey,
Barbecue and
Massage. Okay, so now I feel like we're getting creepy about Tiffany Cross. I don't want to cross the line, and then like on the random chance that she's watching it, I don't want to be like, "What?"
I do want it. Yes, I meant it, Tiffany. I wasn't.
somebody's gonna send us to Tiffany Cross real quick and be like, "Look at these idiots! These idiots talking about you."
This
we
week's
love
Way
this stuff.
Illustrated is about her.
Although
Although
let's keep it 100%. We're gonna be grown. Her titties was not in perfect camera shot like that by accident. So
No, that's the whole point. I'm not trying to say anything ludicrous. I'm just saying like there's a reason why the camera didn't like. There's a lot of people who work on that set. There's a lot of people working on that set. Anybody could have told her like you should wear like you know what I mean. Like we want you to wear something that goes a little bit higher. Or she could have been like, I don't like that that's visible. But nobody said anything for all the time that show's on. And you look at almost any video of her on there, and it always cuts at the same spot. So, and she always wore the same type of clothes. So
I don't think I have it anymore because I reset my phone. I made a super cut of her saying that she was out of time. And it was like just for one show, and it was like 13 times. It's like almost out of time. We're out of time. If I wish I had time, like she would always be out of time. I was like, damn, Tiffany, we got to do something about how
the
you.
shit she was talking about was so important. She didn't have enough time to finish.
she brought people on that were trying to argue and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
see my dog?
yeah, bring your dog on. Put your dog on.
So she done got big already, man. Damn.
God damn.
Get down, baby.
Damn, she done got big already, man.
I should have just knocked a bunch of stuff over. I'm sorry.
Well trained.
I know. Right?
Sounds like a well-trained dog. So, XL, the edibles out here are fucking
Fantastic.
not just that. This was $11 for 100 milligrams.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, can you see the video I sent you?
I don't see any videos right now. What did you send? You send me videos while we're in the middle of this? No, I don't see no video.
It's not showing.
No.
Up. Never mind.
No.
I'm trying
What does
to
that have to do with anything? This Ted Bud race in North Carolina is pretty close.
Oh shit. Okay. I didn't see the whole thing. Wait, what the fuck?
Oh
is
no,
going on?
that's
that's just different counties.
Yeah.
They're flipping different counties. So I was like, wait a second. I thought you were being funny.
He thought I was an asshole.
Like, yeah, she's up 25 points.
No. It's for real. It's for real. Too close to call. Yeah, that's just one of the counties they are looking at, Union County. But there's a lot more coming in from that. So
hey,
this is still looking okay.
You think Steve Kornacki fucks?
Oh yeah.
Like after election shit's all over, he got like Kornacki groupies.
Like I think
whatever. I don't know what he likes. Whatever.
Here's the thing. I think Kornacki's one of those guys who there's like chicks in the newsroom who have dated him. There's a couple chicks swooning over him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he does it right. He's probably a runner. Look at me, he looks like a runner. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, Kornacki fucks. He's got no wedding ring on. You know?
You're good. Dang good. Very observant, Bobby.
No wedding ring. He's probably got. Look at him. He's fucking killing it on TV. They're interested in him. He's got a new podcast out. You know, I think he's one of those guys who in the newsroom, like, there's just like Kornacki.
Hey, so here's the thing. He does the board. He does the stats and numbers and shit.
Yeah, he's a board guy.
The fuck is his podcast? Just talking about numbers that he liked.
Yeah,
I remember this one time. It was 47% to 53%, and I thought, yeah, this is over with. And that's with 92% of the precincts reporting.
He's just doing math.
8%.
He's just doing math on air. He goes, they're between 21,484 votes and 13,303 votes. There's 11,181 votes. Isn't that wild? Now, if you were to subtract and he just goes through another math problem, just breaking some more shit down. No, he's actually got one where he's talking about like polls and shit like that. I think that's what it's about.
Oh, so basically what I said. Okay. God damn it, Herschel Walker came back. Fuck.
This is probably going to go back and forth for a little while here. Some of these things.
Yeah, I was hoping that War Not Lead held for long. Held. It did not.
Yeah, it's going to be going back and forth for a minute. I mean, Herschel's just at 49.7. I think that the big cities are going to be the longest to count because that's usually how it plays out. And you still I don't think their mail-in ballots have been counted yet. There's a bunch of things going on. So there's still a lot of things happening out here. Mandela Barnes is still in the lead right now. It's a little tighter, but he's still in the lead in Wisconsin. That'd be that's an upset. We're on upset watch on that.
Yeah. Herschel Walker getting any votes to me is just gross. 1.5 million people in Georgia so far were like, yeah, this motherfucker with the random babies and baby murderer. Their terminology, not mine.
Well, you know why they're voting for him.
Because he's a docile nigga.
Yep. Because when it comes time to pull the lever they want him to pull, that's the lever he's going to pull, right? Like it's a very clear thing on their part that they're looking for somebody who's going to pull that lever, and whether he's actually the right candidate or not doesn't matter. He's the
right candidate if you do what they want him to do.
That's exactly what we're talking about. That's exactly the situation, is that they are fine with him under that situation because that's a shit that if I was that's a shit that would anger me if I was kind of leaning to the right as a black dude. Like when I look at that shit, I'm just like, you're literally using this dude so that he'll just vote whatever way you want. That would piss me off. I'd look at the history of this country and I'd go, y'all been doing this. This is the same game plan. It's the same shit. Like, I don't understand why the fuck you would support that.
Bobby, so here's the thing. There are some black dudes that watch the movie Django and think Samuel Jackson had a cool job. There's niggas out there that watch the movie Django and think, damn, Samuel Jackson's job was actually kind of cold before they killed him, you know.
Oh fuck,
Like it's
man.
niggas, it's motherfuckers that operate like that, man. And
Today, man, being hungry, being cold, being hated will motivate people to do certain things. I don't even judge Clarence Thomas anymore. Him or that other chick. I don't judge him. I understand your proximity to white supremacy decides how much shit you get. And some people just get tired of doing without.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the Clarence Thomas situation is interesting because he actually it was like I was talking about earlier, like he really feels that the thing about Southern racists is that at least they are openly racist about who they are. He believes that there is an absolute difference between black and white people and that we're not all the same deep down. And that in this country, because of how it started, black people will never get a fair shake by being like by any legislation that would try and create equality. And so as far as he's concerned, at least racist people are at least openly racist. And he really feels that white liberals are only doing what they do or feel like they're trying to help black people so that so they can say they did a thing to help somebody or that they did a thing to help black people, not because they actually believe in equality. He does not believe that white people actually believe in equality at any of them. He doesn't believe any white people believe in equality. He thinks that white people that feel like there should be equality or that claim there should be equality are only saying so that they can get credit for helping black people. That's it. And so he does not believe in affirmative action because he believes that's just a tool to make white people feel like they've done something for you, so you owe them something.
That's an interesting perspective. That sounds like foolishness, but it's interesting foolishness.
Well, here's the flip side. Here's the flip side. What happens if you don't believe in any of those things, or if you oppose all those things? What you're really saying is like, instead of trying to stop racism, you'd rather just let it exist and then let it explode. And how many black people suffer in the meantime while you don't do anything because you just don't think you could ever change white people as a people, and that we're never going to be able to get along really. So we might as well just go as hard as we can for our own shit. Instead of trying to write legislation and try and like, you know, create some level of understanding or some growth, or like create situations in which we can find out that we are closer than we might think we are. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you don't create affirmative action, you don't get enough black people in certain schools to be able to help white people change ever. There are white people who have completely changed what they think about black people as people because they've been able to interact with them.
But the problem is, Bobby, there's a large enough portion, like go back to that 30% thing you're talking about with the Nazis. There's like 30% of the white population that is that hardcore racist and don't want to let that shit happen. And the bigger problem is, and I don't. We talk about the politics shit. I guess we got to shit on white people. but
how can you talk about politics and not shit on some white people?
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. I've come to feel that the problem is not the racist white people at all. The major problem is the motherfuckers that know the racist white people and don't shut that shit down. Because like when white people come to black people and like, how do we fix this racism thing? Nigga, talk to your uncle.
Break up with your family.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you asking me for? You know who the racist motherfuckers are. You go to Thanksgiving with them every year. Y'all talk about that shit all fucking year.
So like, this is one of the things.
You talk to them. You don't got to do shit with us.
This is one of the things.
We don't even got to be involved.
This is one of the things I've been talking about a lot lately. Is the need to be willing to break up with like people, right? Like someone was talking about Chris D'Elia going on tour again, right? And shitting on the fact that he has a whole thing with some younger women that's been an issue, right? some grooming shit, whatever. And somebody got in the chat and was like, trying to defend him a whole bunch, like going hard for him. Doesn't know him at all, just going hard for him, right? And I just was like, there are 50,000 comedians in this country. And like, there's got to be at least 1,000 who are D'Elia level quality, probably. Whether you know them or not, or whether they're as famous or not, like, go pick another one. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about Kanye and Kyrie. It's like, yes, you can expound a lot of energy trying to spend days defending either of them. But there are 900 more niggas in the NBA, and there's a new nigga every day with a rap album.
449.
Go pick another one. You know what I mean? Go get a new one. Because there are other people that aren't trying to just purposefully create. Like, it's one thing if there were some, like, it's one thing if what you were talking about was like actual Black rights or the struggle or actual equality, and you were getting pushed back, and that was the struggle that's going on. But if you're mad because you can't just say shit that some people find to be anti-Semitic, and that's what you're mad about, and then people are gonna like fight real hard to defend you, like, just go get another guy. There's so many guys out there. Just get a new guy.
Dude.
And that's how I feel with these people. It's like, just go get a new one, man. Like, we ain't gotta hold on to this shit. Just go get a new one.
For me, I always follow the capitalism. So for me, when I looked at it, I didn't really care what he said. I mean, the man clearly has issues. But even a person with issues could be correct about some things. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with anything he said or don't, or doesn't even matter. What's important to me is that when he left that company, they lost $244 million.
Sure.
Now think about this. All of y'all have had decent jobs. We've all had jobs we made money. None of us have made anything near $245 million for any white person. You can't help but go crazy when you make them crackers that type of money. You understand what I'm saying? It is not possible for you to make that type of money for them and not have something wrong with you.
Hey,
well,
I will say this. Kanye, I feel like Kanye is a reflection of what Dave Chappelle said, I think, in like when he has a sit-down interview. I can't remember if it was with Oprah. Yeah, it was with Oprah, I believe. Yeah, and he talks about, why do these people go crazy? And I know there was a lot of humor, but there's a lot of real shit in what you just said, Rob, because when you're producing that type of money, like, I know this analogy is going to seem probably way too strong, but it is a plantation type aspect because your ass got to keep producing. You got to keep churning. You don't make $250,000 every fucking quarter, $250 million, every quarter, and then like take the spring off.
They all.
No, motherfucker, we need another $250 million. And the reason why the analogy is stretched, I understand, because he was compensated very extremely well for it, but that still is a lot of motherfucking pressure. And this motherfucker was running a music empire, a shoe empire, a clothing empire, and having this marriage fall apart. Like, I am not making excuses for him other than to say a lot of motherfuckers would have folded. A lot of motherfuckers would have went crazy going through all that at the same time.
Dave even talked about how they treated him when he made the money.
Who?
Dave Chappelle mentioned it when he was like, talked about how he was crack in the office and all. My only point is this: I don't follow the politics anymore. I follow the capitalism, and with that, I just felt like think about if you made $100,000 a year. Think about the bullshit you got to go through when you work for somebody who's paying you that type of money. Now, if they gotta pay him anywhere near $100 million and all this, and he making all them. It has to be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem with the capitalism part isn't the fact that like he's under all this pressure from this company to make them more money. The problem with the capitalism part is he was a millionaire for making music and even having like a small clothing line. And no one, I mean, I don't remember anybody forcing him to go out and like add all the other things onto everything. And you know what I mean? Like he could have made $15 million a year as a guy who made music and came out with videos, and like everybody could have been fine, right? Like maybe you don't have to go crazy then. But for whatever reason, the decision was made that we had to make
but everybody know that until you don't know that until it happens. Like, I mean, okay.
You say so, but like we keep talking about this. Like you just told me Chappelle had a sit-down interview where he broke down how this happens all the time. So how does it happen all the time, but you don't know that till it happens? It can't be both of those things. Either we go, yes, it can. Hey man, hold on. Hear me out.
Why can't I think things happen so fast?
Either you go, obviously at a certain point this gets out of hand or it's too much to handle, so we should figure out like what's comfortable. Or you recognize that maybe $20 million a year is way more than what anybody's making, and you stop trying to like stretch yourself past that point. Like, why do you have to be a billionaire? For who? For what? Why? I don't get it. Why do you have to be a billionaire? I mean, in general.
I can't. Well, I can tell you this. The amount of people that's around me that need things is pretty high. Now, I understand that it's not my job to pay everybody, and that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is make capitalism work for everyone. And the best way to do that is to be the one that's controlling the cart. Now, I don't give a shit about how much shit I have. I don't really need a lot of shit, but I need a lot of money to be able to pay people so that they can do shit to help perpetuate us all. And for me, that means you got to make the 20 million. Because everybody, if as many people as I can put to work in Inglewood, I will put to work in Inglewood. Any place where I know the brothers at, anywhere, because it is not about anything other than I know we need the attention more. Not because of any other, not because I got anything to be Latins or nobody else. We need the attention more. So in my mind, if it only takes 20 million for me to make it roll like it need to roll, okay, that's cool. You dig what I'm saying? That's my motivation, but I can't speak for anyone else.
And that's admirable. What I'm trying to say is when apparently this is what happens when you push to that level. Maybe we should, like, as much as admirable as that is, you have to make a decision as to whether you think it's worth taking that risk or not, and then you can't expect me to feel some type of way for you when you've taken, like, hey, listen, man, 80% of the people that jump off this cliff are dead. And then you jump off the cliff and you're dead, and I got to feel bad because you're dead? Nigga, they told you 80% fall off the motherfucker. Like, what? Stop at the edge of the cliff, dog. Like, stop going there, right? Like, the other thing I want to talk about, too, because
ignorance is real, man.
The other thing I want to talk about, too, though, is, like, there is a innate trauma that's built into, like, us here, right? Like, part of the problem that's going on is that there is an innate unaddressed trauma that's going on, because there's plenty of white people that make $50 million a year, $100 million a year, have $1 billion. They're not going crazy, right?
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
I know probably got it.
I know a ton of people. I know guys who go from 0 to 100, athletes, musicians. I mean, Garth Brooks isn't nuts, is he? He seems to be a normal dude. He's made a shit ton of money.
You also have to calculate
so bad, like 6 years as somebody else.
He said bad decisions is not fucking saying shit about Jewish people, right? Like that. Those are two. Yeah, those are two different things, right? My point is that I think what we're actually talking about is an underlying trauma that veers on imposter syndrome, touches on a lot of different things that I think are part of the traumatic experience of being a slave descendant in this country, who is then in a position of financial power. And, I think Jay-Z talked about this at one point, being in a room where It's not dissimilar than Obama being president, right? You get in a room where you are the only, especially coming from hip hop, where now you show up in a room dressed the way you want to dress. You're in a room where nobody's dressed like that or looks like you. Or if there is one person, it's like somebody who did not grow up in the neighborhood you grew up in, who went to some school that you would have never gotten into because they happen to be a line, it's a Candace Owens type situation, right? Like, or somebody like that, right? And so there's it's just like it's one of those pieces they just brought in to try and make you feel comfortable. But when you talk to them, you're like, they got the wrong one. You sent, you might as well just taken Chad and put him in blackface and brought him in here. It would have been the same effect. It's the same, you know what I mean? So I think more so than that, that's the issue, is that it'd be easy to be like, well, we just got to have more billionaires. Yeah, but it's not going to be that simple. The easier thing would be to probably work against that whole concept as an aspirational thing, and trying to find other ways that we can grow and enrich ourselves, as opposed to this idea of, well, I'm just become a billionaire, I can take care of everybody, because that is not seeming to be how that works. There's obviously other factors at play trying to keep Black people who become billionaires from being able to take care of everybody.
My example is Kevin Hart. That dude, when he put his foot down, the ripples go out long and far. And that's all I want to do. I want to make a splash big enough for enough people to ride it to be able to say, okay, I'm good. I'm gone when my time is over with my children's children and whatever. I just don't want them to have to deal with this. And maybe that's my trauma speaking. But whatever it is, that's what the goal is.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
that's the realest shit. That's the realest shit. That's what we all everybody strives for, because we know how much shit we have to deal with. What my fear is?
It is not really I'll be honest, it is not what I strive for. Like I said, I don't want to be a billionaire. I don't want to be any of that shit.
No. I mean, strive for our families to not have to deal with this shit.
I mean, I'd rather my family not have to deal with like the social issues and have some of the economic shit change, but like being rich is not a thing that I am concerned about my family being. It's just
only
not
44% of the vote is in, and Barnes just went down a little bit. I mean, he's still up. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, that's still, that may be a necessary upset, because JD Vance seems to still be leading in Ohio right now. And that is, besides that being just an insane concept, is also not awesome. He's up by almost 300,000 votes on Tim Ryan. In the state, Ohio's not, it feels like people are trying to get out of Ohio every day.
Yeah. Dude, hey, Kenny Hobbs is giving it to Lake right now. I know it's only 40%. Yeah, up over 100, up over 100,000 with 40% in.
Is that Arizona results that are starting to come in?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I'll take some AZ results. That's nice. Do you have
Sarah Huckabee?
It's so wild. It's wild.
I mean, it's Arkansas, man.
Actually, 40% in is good. I'll take 40%. Oh yeah, it's getting tight right now. The Wisconsin race is getting tight right now.
Yeah, 25,000.
What is
a little less than 25,000?
What's interesting is that Evers is kind of, he looks like a pretty solid slate for the governorship still. But on the other, and Wisconsin is one of those states as an example of what I talked about, where these weird voters are like, we want to make the governor one thing, but we want to make sure that the state representatives are another thing. And so that way, here's really that's where gerrymandering really comes in, right? You can gerrymander all the districts so that everybody in the state assembly is of the party that you want, because you gerrymandered it that way. And the governor or something, everybody just votes on in the state. So like the state speaks on that when it's like, well, do we really want to run the place? But then the legislature is basically handicapping what the governor can accomplish, right? And so that's the problem you run into in those situations.
Well, Wisconsin is about it. If they get a supermajority, which they're projected to get a supermajority, if they get a supermajority, they are going to completely handcuff the. They already took like a lot of power away from what the governor could do there, but yeah, they're going to completely handcuff them if they get the supermajority. which is wow.
And
Yeah.
some of the shit, like,
Hey,
when it
are
comes
you guys seeing this? Are
What's
you guys
that?
seeing this? Lauren Boebert is down 5 points with 71% in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like what we're talking about there. Oh man, let me go to the house and see what's going on in Colorado. We're gonna go to Colorado and check out all the results. And the Goose is winning. Who's she up against in that? Who's she up against in that?
Adam Frisch.
Frisch. Wow.
he's fresh. He's so fresh.
I like that. I would take that. Wow. It's close, but it's less than 10,000, but 70% are in, so who knows? Colorado Springs still yet to report. That could be rough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Steve Kornacki, man, I do have to admit, he be on this
Kornacki fucks,
man.
let's be honest.
Yeah, he got that shit down. How does he not does he have a line of khakis? Can you buy some Kornacki khakis?
Dude, that's the thing.
Oh my God, this is crazy. Are you
gotta
saying the
pitch-
same thing I'm saying?
You got to pitch Kornacki khakis. That's got to be the thing. You got to
You gotta get some Kornacki khaki.
give them those things that
Kornacki
stretch.
khaki is-
They stretch.
Oh.
They don't wrinkle. You know what I mean? You got to get them.
He is
that's gotta
showing
be-
how
Where-
much ahead that this guy is above Biden at the time, and it's like 5 and 10 points in each county or each precinct.
Yeah.
Hey JB, our local billionaire is still king.
The Kornacki khakis is the way that is how that should be talked about all the time. Joe Naguse looks like he's winning his race again. He's going to stick around, which is good. Let's see if we can find some other results that are important to us. Let's check the Senate and see what's happening here. Let me get to Georgia and see what's happening with my man. Herschel Walker's up slightly over Warnock.
What's still
we're
out? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know what parts aren't reported yet. I can't really see. There's a lot of places where there's no results yet. So Warnock leads in the bigger states. They're just not all reported in yet.
Okay.
So there's still a lot to go there. Let's check out Arizona and see what's happening there. Kelly leads his race. Kelly's in his race in Arizona. Blake over Blake Masters by a lot. That dude's getting dusted, by the way.
Looks like Kansas
Blake
governor
Masters-
Kelly is kicking Smith up and down the ass. My goodness.
And then it's a real shame that Sinema isn't up for election this time.
Yeah,
too
it'd
bad,
be nice
you
to get
know?
rid of her. It'd be nice to be able to get rid of her.
I wish that was the case. It looks like Andy Biggs is still winning in his district, which is crazy considering that his own family wishes he would lose.
Yeah, like with your own family campaigns against you, that is amazing that people. There's a dude in Arizona that's a congressman that won, and he has like 8 brothers and sisters, and 7 of them campaigned against him.
Yeah, that's Andy Biggs.
Oh, that's who. Oh, wow. Yeah,
That's him. Yeah, it's a guy. Fetterman is up on Oz right now. I'm trying to see how much 49% is in, and Fetterman has about a 130,000 vote lead on Oz at the moment, which is good.
Okay, cool.
That's hey man, if he can take that seat and Mandela Barnes can pull out his seat, that's a nice win, you know.
Yeah.
We could take Hobbs for the governor. Kelly maintains that seat in Arizona. You know, there's some things. It's not looking terrible in some of these areas. As bad as, at least not as, some places we expected to happen, right? DeSantis, you expect to win. That wasn't surprising, even though I think I would have expected
Westmore won as Maryland's governor.
Yeah, although I would have expected Demis to put up a better showing. I wasn't, Rubio winning isn't crazy. That's chalk, But if Barnes can pull this off in Wisconsin, I think that's a big deal. That'll be a big, big upset. Let me see where he is right now. He is up right now. He's over 50%. He's not got a giant lead. about 13,000. It's only 50% in, so still a lot to come from there. But he's ahead in some places that matter. So like Madison, Milwaukee, Eau Claire, Green Bay, he leads in those places.
The governors, I know we were joking with one of you guys. I'm not sure when you guys are tapping. I don't think it's you, Bobby. You're tapping your mic.
It might be. Yeah. I've got my phone on the table.
Yeah.
That's
We've picked up 2 governors as Democrats. I know we were saying
it does matter because when they get ready to steal the election, and when they get ready to take it back to the governors or to whomever, you still got to count those cats as you know.
Yeah. That's true. In some instances, governors get to pick the attorney general or the secretary of state or whatever,
and senators if one should leave.
Yeah.
This
is true. That's a good call. Lauren Underwood looks like she's leading her race right now in Illinois. Who is that? Is that your representative, X?
No. Oh yeah, Lauren Underwood. Yes, that's it. Yeah. That is my representative. I don't know why. I right as you said that the Boebert shit popped up again, and I'm just mesmerized by it.
Yeah. Oh, it's former press secretary out here. I didn't know Zaki was on here.
Yeah. They keep calling her a host, but I don't know. And she might have something on Peacock or something. I haven't seen her actually host a show yet. She keeps appearing as a guest.
Yeah, they probably got something coming for her.
Yeah.
She on the bench.
Oh God, they're gonna give her Saturday morning.
Oh God, what a changeover.
Yeah.
Duckworth looks like she's cruising in the Illinois Senate race. You would have figured that would be the way that would go.
What a changeover! That's hilarious.
Pritzker is crushing Darren Bailey, by the way, too. He's
already been.
Oh yeah, he's declared the winner there, right? Oh yeah,
dude,
61%, and that's a wrap. Basically, Chicago carried him, and like one county way up in the northwest part of the state it went for him already, and they're like, "That's enough. Get it out of here."
The area that I live in has almost as much voting power as the rest of the fucking state. Like Naperville, Aurora, Elgin, Joliet, that pocket.
Oh yeah.
It's almost 1 million people, I think.
Yeah, that's the whole
like 750,000 people or something like that. If you
right.
All the cities in that area. And that's like 2/3 of the rest of the fucking state.
49.3. Herschel Walker got 49.3.
Jared Polis looks like he's going to take the. Looks like he's going to wrap up the governorship, and Bennett's got the Senate seat in Colorado, which is great. Maintain that.
I thought there was a Sununu that was a Democrat.
Running.
Sununu.
Yeah, there's a Sununu that just won in Sununu. Well played. New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's a Republican though.
Yeah. But I swear I thought there was a Sununu.
No.
Fetterman's still up right now. Fetterman's still up right now. Frisch is still up on Boebert. I'm really feeling this right now. I'm not hating this at the moment, y'all. This is not terrible.
Yeah, I'm concerned with Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that Herschel Walker could win that state is so weird to me.
It's so scary. It's so terrifying that people saw that man, heard that man speak, saw him pull out a fucking fake badge and say, what did he say? I often work sometimes with.
I am work with many police.
Yeah.
That was the statement, dog. I am work with.
That,
hold on. He
felt comfortable fucking voting for him. It's
wait.
Disgusting.
He pulled up a badge on stage and he said, I am work with many police. And then the moderator was like, Herschel, you can't use a prop on stage. You agreed that you would not use any props on stage. And he said, this is not a prop. It's a real badge, which also is informing you that he doesn't understand that the fact that even if it was a real badge, that doesn't change the fact that it's considered a prop.
Yeah.
It's still considered a prop because you're using it as a prop. Like that's what a prop is.
to follow up, he then went on an interview after that when somebody described the badge that he had basically as a Boy Scout badge. And he went to argue against that. It was he basically made it sound like if it was going down in Georgia, he could just go suit up and shit, like he's in the reserves.
He got some cop guy. I don't know if he was a retired cop or something, to say something like it was some guy who gave some line of bullshit that wasn't like a full commitment, but it was just like a cop who was like, yeah, we like Herschel. It was so goofy, man. But hey, listen, here's the other part. He's not at 50%. So, if the night ends, or if the votes come in and he's not at 50%, that's a runoff. So that's not necessarily locked in. And at the moment, he's like 25,000 votes up, which is still catchable in Georgia. There's still plenty to go there. There's a lot in, but there's still plenty to go. So that could still be turned around before it's over. The House seats down there are gross. I'm looking at some of these people in the House seats, and I'm just like, golly, man. Like, and I'm sure it's just
Shapiro's crushing Mastriano.
I'm sure it's just a completely racist area, but the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene is still winning in that place is when I think of places I never want to go. When I think about places I don't want to go, that is definitely somewhere I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's good. Wherever the hell Marjorie Taylor Greene's district is.
She probably liking some shit like Warrior, Georgia, or some shit.
I don't want no parts of it. Wherever that is, I don't like it. I don't like it. It sounds terrible. I don't want to be there.
It's terrible.
It looks like a lot of fucking House, a lot of Pennsylvania House winners looks like they're Democrats right now, which is good. It's a lot of, at the moment, y'all, I'm not seeing too much change going on here. I'm showing, no change in total gain or loss of seats right now on the Senate side. On the House side, still +2 for Republican. So we're still living large here. We're still living large.
I'm feeling good.
Rob, if you're gonna run for office, Rob, what would be the first office that you would probably run for? What's like if somebody came to you and like, listen, man, we're gonna back a campaign for you. You could run for local comptroller, local dog catcher. You could run for mayor. You could run for senator. What would you give yourself up to go do?
I would want to fight them. I would want a city. I don't want no Senate seat or no shit like that. I'd take it. No, I want a city. I want to be where money is.
You want to be a mayor. You want to be a mayor.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be a mayor.
Yep. That's exactly what I'd be.
X?
Yeah.
What about you, X?
I feel like being a mayor in a decent sized suburban city is basically a mafia boss. So yeah.
Yeah.
You probably ain't getting nobody killed, but
Yeah, I'd always considered kicking it off as an alderman. I always thought an alderman would be a nice first stop because that's where you begin the grift. You just start.
Yeah,
that's a better idea. It's still a fiefdom. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you're way out of the thing, and also as far as your first step in, it gives you this opportunity to kind of you get a whole city, man. You can fuck that up royally. Remember when Detroit went bankrupt? That shit was.
Yeah. Dude, I remember I used to have a bit when Detroit actually went bankrupt and they had a press conference. I was like, nigga, Detroit was bankrupt when I was 8. Why y'all?
I was gotta be reminded.
Yeah, Detroit been bankrupt my whole life. Y'all just now find? Did y'all just find out? Because I remember when I was 8. That you what I mean?
Well, morally bankrupt is a completely different thing.
Dude.
Yep.
Hey, they actually turning it around up there, but they've been broke for a while.
Yeah, they're broke.
There's a reason why, and it's not projected on. It's a predominantly black town and some shit like that. GM literally fucking turned that spot into a fucking zombie town. They shipped all the jobs away, which I still cannot understand. I understand how cheap labor is elsewhere, but it seems like the shipping cost of a fucking car would outweigh.
Not if you are the one who owns the market. Like, probably a great deal of cars are being shipped. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they make the cars. They make the cars in Mexico and Canada,
and they bring the parts here.
They're mostly just making the cars in Mexico and Canada.
Yeah,
really.
That's mostly it.
I mean, like, if we really want to get into it, there's a suggestion that they that GM
that's cars, but everything else
moved the manufacturing out of America because in the 80s, most of the manufacturing were in urban areas that were, and everybody I know growing up and all my family had somebody in their family worked in the motherfucking factory. They had a factory job of some kind. They made a real good living, and a bunch of black folks got middle class. Yeah, steel mill, shit like that. And they moved all that shit away from America.
You know why they did it though, right? It was not just because of racism. Like I know it's an easy out. It's not just because of racism. It's not just because of racism.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's a piece of it, but not in the way that it's not as direct as you might think. So like the issue is unions. It's literally unions. There's no union in the Mexico GM plant doesn't have a union.
I think there's a great deal of racism in the union thing too.
But that's my point. So it's not directly like, oh, black people have good jobs. I'm going to stop that. The issue was
I think it's
too many black people in goddamn unions.
Yes, because you couldn't fire us then. Right. And we look. My mom was a union steward.
Right.
She was a motherfucker that kept people from getting fired and shit like that. And I used to just like, you know, you around your parents, you hear them work and shit like that. And I hear people, you know, they did some super, like 8 years old, was like, that dude didn't get fired for that, man. Like, wait, he slept in the locker room and then they caught him doing cocaine in the bathroom and he still got to keep the job. Like, damn, you know.
The other,
as a person who was in a union, who understand my union book only in the disciplinary portion, front and back. I used the fuck out of union stewards. I used them and abused them. Sometimes I would tell them, sit down and shut up. I'll do this myself. And what I can tell you is that the shit that you can get away with. Now, me, I never push the envelope. All I wanted you to do was leave me alone, right? So what I would do is say things that would make everybody feel stupid. So now they feel like you got to find a way to deal with me other ways. And what I can tell you is that people do horrible shit and keep their jobs. Horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like how did you? I knew a guy. They had already suspended him. And back then, excuse me, when they would suspend you, they take your little star away. And for some people, that is their whole entire fucking world. Right. And I was like, well, when they de-deputize me, it don't never hurt. So bring it on. Put it in conjunction with my off days, and I go somewhere and make some money in another city. But anyway, so this dude was already on suspension. He goes to a car dealership, and they tell him his car ain't ready. He brandishes his weapon in the dealership at the dealer, not one of his underlings, because at that point he done talked his way all the way up to the chain and brandished his weapon. Now this dude owns the dealership. You know he got the Chamber of Commerce on. You know what I mean? And they suspended him again, but they didn't fire him.
It's, man.
I mean, you know, it was just that's really what it comes down to. Oh, the other thing too, as far as transporting the cars, freight is usually a thing that's just like a pretty fixed cost. Like even cars that are made here get a freight charge on them because they still have to be transported from where they get made to the dealership. So there's a freight charge that goes into every car. That's just kind of like it's always going. No, you're missing what I'm saying. Yeah. Like no one would ever buy Japanese cars if the freight charge was that expensive, right? So what I'm saying is like all cars. But here's how car companies work in collusion. American car companies have created a freight charge that's big enough that it makes it about even for everybody to charge a freight charge that's in the same range. Like destination is what they call it, right? And some companies it's like $800-900. Some companies it's like $1,200, but that's not enough to make or break the deal on the car. But it is bigger than what it actually costs to transport all them cars, because you can transport one car for about $1,200. I can get a car from here to Chicago for $1,200. So if you were going to transport 6 of them together, which should cost less, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the cost is built in to kind of even it out, so that even if, because now you have Chevy bringing cars, some of the cars they bring over from China, right? Not all the cars that Chevy makes are, Dodge makes car. Dodge is owned by a company overseas, Stellantis, which has Fiat and has all these other companies involved. So like some of the cars that Dodge has, new Hornet coming over, I think that car is going to be made overseas.
I saw that.
So like you got to be able to. So the reason why they kind of create
it's like a Mini Cooper.
So the reason why they collude to create this destination charge that's bigger than necessary is because they know they all need to kind of rely on keeping that door open to ship cars around. Because they're in cahoots.
And this has been OG Car Talk with Bobby. OG Car Talk with Bobby.
There's so much more than politics going on here, but this is still a political conversation because we're talking about jobs being shipped overseas or into other countries and how that's cost people, And it's interesting who gets the blame for this all the time, because even right now there's a lot of like white working class people who blame Democrats for rising prices, or who blame Democrats for the jobs being shipped overseas. And it's interesting because, Clinton is the guy who's kind of responsible for a lot of that happening and the disillusionment. But the reality is, like, what Clinton was doing by doing that was trying to appease corporate interests, which are largely Republican conservative style interests. Like, he was a very conservative Democrat president, right?
He's Arkansas.
Right. Yeah. So my whole point is, like, they turned away from the Democratic Party because they did what the party they ended up voting for wanted them to do. And that just sounds like a stupid person thing. That sounds like a dumb thing.
I just want to revisit that whole thing about the cars. The reason why that's important and interesting to me is my brother drives a car carrier, and they pay him per car. Now, I thought the reason that they paid him per car is because they were just being cheap. Right. It is that they're being cheap, but they being cheap to a science. They want to know, okay, you bring us this many cars, we give you this much money. And that lets you know exactly what you paid for each car. Did not think of it that way. I just thought they were just being cheap.
No, they got that shit sorted out because they know exactly what they've got those destination charges. They cannot change that shit. So they figure out all those as fixed costs, so they never have to worry about that. That's their whole thing.
It's a union shop.
Yeah. And destination costs go up again based off of gas prices going up and shit like that. Like the more that shit costs, the more that all costs. But we talked about this earlier. I don't know if Rob was here for that. We were talking about the fact that the reason why this inflation exists is because largely, well, one, corporations are greedy, right? Rule number 4080, right?
People are shady.
Right. And the other reason is the Trump tax cuts, the 2017 tax cuts. I remember when they were talking about doing those, and they're like, man, everybody's going to be paying for these in the mid-2020s, 2024, 2025. That's when that shit's going to hit because we're not going to get the growth we need. That's before we knew we were going to have a pandemic, though. And because we had a pandemic, that shit that was going to probably hit us in 2025 and 2026 and 2027 is hitting us in 2022. Right now.
And that don't mean we're not going to get hit again in 2024, 25.
It's just going to be compounded because we're not, you know what I mean? Like, because here's the reality with what Biden was going to do, he may have actually been able to create the growth that could have maybe supplanted some of that. And I truly believe this. If you would let the economic policies that we're actually trying to get done, if you would let that go for like 4 to 6 more years, I think you could crush this whole shit. but you have to go through you got to be willing to go through this part to get to the other side of it. Like what they're doing isn't going to keep making the inflation that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. So,
you know,
it doesn't look like to me. It doesn't look like to me capitalism is meant to work for everybody, because when it does, you got to do shit to stop it from working. Now they're gonna tell you that the economy is too high. They give you all type of educational bullshit. The reason why the economy is fucked up is because too many rich people is taking too much of the fucking pie. Period. Point blank. And if you see, because again, if everybody's doing well, then who's gonna work at Burger King? You see what I'm saying? They gotta make sure it's somebody that's gonna keep working at Burger King, even if they only need one smart person, they need one. So they gotta keep ratcheting the pressure downward.
Yeah, how could they get people into the military, right? That was the wildest shit when they were talking about doing the student loan forgiveness, and people were literally like, "Well, how are we going to get people into the military if we don't get them to, if we don't convince them that the only way they can afford to get an education is by potentially dying in war?" You know, we could just
live that life. I can tell you that is 100% true.
You know, we could just maybe try and have less wars and spend that money just on educating those people, or we could do wars, and then whoever makes it, you get to go to college if you want to.
Okay, so
hey,
is that hold on, wait a minute, hold on. That's the first time I've ever said it like that. Is that literally what we're doing? Is that literally what we do as a country? Like we could go, hey,
now because.
But I mean, in general, hold on. Let me just clear this out. In general, is that how we've kind of been functioning, where we're just like, hey, listen, here are our options. We could do like less war, and we could just use that money we were using for war, and instead we could just like educate people and make them like smart Americans who could like do a bunch of shit. Or, hear me out, we could do wars, and then whoever survives, we could let them get an education and see if their trauma doesn't kill them first. That's how it's been working, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And hey, here's what's worse, B. We was proud of that shit. We're
the best at wars.
These motherfuckers. No, I'm talking about the educational part at the end, nigga. They got commercials about that shit. They did.
That was the gimmick
about that shit. Man.
That was the gimmick. Okay. They're like, look, we'll educate you if you get home.
I think it's dope that somebody chose to serve the country and they get to go to college for free. But
is it choosing? Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Is it choosing or is it the choosing option?
I remember I feel like I was part of the first generation where I was talking about that group of black people that got good fucking factory jobs and shit. And I was the kid of those people. And we experienced, I remember graduating high school and I had two different sides. My family out here that all worked in the factories that had real good paying jobs and stuff. It was all, what college you going to? Have you decided which college you're going to? Stuff.
Yep.
My family that lived in the city and didn't make as much money and stuff like that. It was like going to the military, you got a job, you're gonna try to get out there to the factory, with your mom and stuff like that. It was like two separate conversations. And that shit used to blow my mind because like my family in the city, we'd not even like college wasn't even so like when I said college, they'd be shocked, like, oh, you going to college? Like, yeah, I got a fucking full ride. It was in the paper. How do you not know this? Like, like it was a big ass picture of me in the paper, nigga. Like, what the fuck? And I
had a big check from the university I was holding up in the motherfucker.
Like,
I'm 6'9", and the check still looked big in my hands. That's how big this motherfucking check was.
But no, it's like old school uncles and cousins and shit like that. That would just be like the fact that I was going to college. It made it. That shit I said. Oh, this was offline. This wasn't. I think we had this conversation earlier. I hate. We even do it to ourselves. Black people, we do it to ourselves. And you see in movies and stuff, we the educated brother. I hate that fucking phrase. I hate it so fucking much. Because they're having the quote unquote educated brother automatically implies that the rest of us aren't.
Right.
That he is like the college brother or whatever. So, or even smart. Because it doesn't. I don't know. that I hate that archetype. I hate that.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that we put out there because it's not true. I know people who didn't go to college that are fucking, you know, brilliant.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, I
and
think
talented,
we've become even more broad in more recent years as we've really started getting to like working on our own mental health and like seeking more freedom of who we are. You know, like like that you're talking about the Smiths and their kids and their ability to just be free. And Rob, you're out here on the West Coast. You know what it's like. There's a lot of brothers out here just doing whatever the fuck they want.
Whatever they feel like doing.
Just doing it,
Smoke
you know.
weed in the parking lot
like-
before it was legal because nobody
Well,
was messing with them. You can
Well,
say this.
it's like the Smiths, like it's like you see Willow Smiths every day out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what are you saying, Rob?
The thing about the military that's so crazy and insipid is that they gave me the choice of gym or ROTC.
Right.
And I knew I wasn't going to be swimming or none of that. So I joined the ROTC and found out I was really good at it. Like
Right.
I was really good. I got promoted really, really quick. It didn't really seem all that difficult to do. And they started like making it easier for me to do things that I probably shouldn't have had easier ways of doing. You understand what I'm saying?
Tell
Like-
the people. Tell the people what you were good at, though.
Well, I was good at shooting things, so I also was really.
That's why they
I was
like
really,
you.
really good- yeah, I was really, really good at shooting things, like really outstanding at it. But even more than that, I was good at moving people around and keeping them happy and motivated.
Right.
And I was a pretty decent decision maker. But more than any of that, the thing that was so crazy about it is that because I was good at certain things, they kept pushing me in things that they needed more than what I was good at, right? Like terrain features and shit. I don't really know a lot about that. I know how to read a map and all that shit, but I don't really need to know a draw or none of that shit. But they wanted me to know that type of shit because that's the level of work you're gonna get in the military. We'll make you an officer, but you won't be an officer that do no good shit. Those guys go to West Point. What you'll get to do is one particular job, and this is the thing that teaches you not to try that hard. Like when I'm not exaggerating. When I got ready to take the ASVAB, they was like, "You really don't need to score that high for what you want to do, so don't even try."
Right.
And when actually, if I would have tried, I probably would have got a much better job in a similar. Okay, the thing that they drive you to in the military is what they call combative arms. Combative arms is infantry, field artillery, air defense, and stuff like that. So like they push you towards being an armor, tank gun, all that stuff. So they had convinced me that in order to get as high as I could get, I would have to go infantry. And I went in there and I said, I want to sign up for the infantry. I ain't even trying to take the little whatever. Here it is. I'm an infantryman. That's what I want to do. A dummy, because this is what they have taught me in high school. And now, as I get ready to go to college, they was like, we don't pay for your college, but we will give you money after you get started. They don't pay all the way at the time I went. They didn't pay all the way.
Right.
They didn't need you. You understand? So they didn't need that many people. So at the time, what they wound up doing for me, and it was so crazy, man, is that I got to the MEPS. That's the Military Entrance Processing Station. Everything in the military has an acronym.
That's how far I got.
I'm sitting there, and as this guy's talking to me, he was like, "Okay, man, I know you want to be in the infantry, but now let me give you a better job. Let me give you field artillery. All them people that get promoted get field artillery. Now, if I'd had air defense, I could have got just as well promoted because it's still a fighting job." And so when the guy got through talking to me, I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And when I got there, I realized quickly most of the people around me aren't that bright. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just obvious. I stood out from the day I stepped. It was about 3 or 4 brothers that ran everything, and I was one of them. And I'm just saying that they know who you are. They figure out who you are through testing and how you behave, and they start grooming you at a young age.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting take on that about how they kind of staff. Because my experience with the military was I'd already gone to college for a couple of years, and I got home and nothing. It wasn't. Now that I'm older and I've had a bunch more experiences, the trouble I got into that had my mom tell me that school was over and it was time to pick a division of the armed forces to check out. It was not as bad as it seemed at the time, right? Like I got run off the road, and the person who owned the car tried to sue me for it, and it was some racist shit. Like, it was just some racist shit. So it was no big deal. Now it's no big deal, but at the time, my mom was like, "You're not going back to school. You need to go to one of these places." And I'd already been in school for 2 years, and I was like, "Well, I ain't doing that infantry shit. So fuck the Marines and the Army." And I called the Air Force because I'm like, them niggas ain't on the ground.
Those are the best jobs in the military.
You either flying planes or you in a room somewhere in an office, but your shit ain't never getting bombed. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting bombed, you're in some real trouble, you know? Like,
they gotta shoot the Air Force.
Yeah, it's not even like with the Navy, even if you were going to try and be involved in the plane flash of the Navy, you still got to be out on the boat somewhere. Not the Air Force. That shit's on land. And I was like, I want to do that. And so I went there, and when I talked to them, they were like, the ASVAB will determine like what your deal is. Like, if you score high enough, you might even get to go into the Air Force Academy. And I was like, oh, okay. So I fucking made sure I was ready to go, man. Like, I scored a 90 on the ASVAB, and they were like, hey, man, you might be all good for this shit. And then I washed out in MEPS because I had asthma when I was a kid. They were like, you can't come in here then. That was another time they didn't need people. We were not at war. This was at a time where there was nothing going on. There wasn't shit going on. So they were just like, any little thing, they were like,
that's right. That's like right before we went before Bin Laden hit us.
Oh yeah, it was like years and years before Bin Laden. So it was like there wasn't a whole lot of like. I mean, there was probably some underlying military.
Yeah, it was in between Saddam and Bin Laden.
But like for what they were, where I was gonna be going, like they'll always take infantrymen. But like the shit they were probably gonna have me do, they're like, nah, we don't need this nigga.
So, my military story is quick.
About the Air Force, everything in there.
I got.
No, I'm saying, Rob.
I said my military story is quick.
Really.
Rob, what were you saying?
Real quick, the Marine Corps, in order to pass basic training in the Marine Corps, you got to run 3 miles. In order to pass basic training in the Army, you got to run 2 miles. In order to pass basic training in the Air Force, you only have to run a mile and a half. And the thing about the Air Force that makes it so much better is that you don't have to go to the field. Everything at the Air Force, they spend all type of great money in their rear area because their families and everyone stays in the rear area, and the rest of the money goes to airplanes. In the military, you got to buy tanks and all this shit. You got to be out in the field all the time, and they got to support all that shit. And that money that's where they spend most of the money. The rear areas is okay. They're not bad, but they're not like the Air Force. Air Force has restaurants where the Army has mess halls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I didn't want to go into the military, but when I started hearing about how the Air Force situation would have been, I'd be like, I was like, okay, I could do this. I get through basic training, and I'll just be doing whatever my gig is. The discipline probably be good, And
you go home at the end of the day. You don't stay out for 3 and 4 days. No silly shit like that. Yeah. You go home at the end of every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I found out one of the things that happened in MEPS is I truly got tested for color blindness. And they're like, well, you're not flying any planes. And I was like, fuck.
Yep. You cannot have any impairment of your vision at all.
No.
You can't wear glasses. None of
I was too big anyway. I was already 6'2", 215, I think, at the time. So I was like, that wasn't going to happen.
Hey, I can't believe it. They just projected JD Vance the winner.
That is amazing, man.
That is I did not see that coming, especially after he got destroyed at the debates. Like he got slammed. Dude was he had like 3 or 4 mic drop moments on him at the debate. I thought for sure that he locked it up when he did that. And
I'll be honest, man. Ohio is a really disappointing. Like, it's a disappointing place. Like in all kinds of ways. Like I've been in Ohio a few times. I've been to some of those cities. I'm not
Ohio is racist. Ohio is racist like in a stupid way. Like Cincinnati, they love basketball but hate niggas.
Well, like at least
they love basketball and jazz, but hate niggas.
At least Florida's got like decent weather most of the time, and like the chicks are like cool, slutty, like. There's Miami in fucking Florida, and Ohio has like similar racism, but it's like in the middle of nowhere. Like you don't even have the right to
Yeah.
be that shitty. You should be grateful that anybody gives a fuck about you at all. And this is what the fuck you doing? This seems like a weird way to be, man. Like
I love Cleveland.
My
I
only
love
experience with Ohio, aside from basketball, playing basketball there, is to drive through the motherfucker to get to some cooler shit at another state. You got to drive through that bitch to get to Pennsylvania and the East Coast.
I've only been
I
pulled
got
over for
family in
dumb shit in
Cincinnati.
Ohio. I've only
You
been
got what?
pulled over for
You
dumb
did
shit
what?
in Ohio.
You did what in
I got
Cincinnati?
family in
Rob?
Cincinnati. I got family in Cincinnati and in Columbus. I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cincinnati had race riots twice in the early
Yeah.
2000s.
Yep.
That's wild.
What were you saying about the military, X?
Oh, I said my military story was very brief. I got shot at by vice lords and Latin kings, so I didn't feel the need to join the military.
I'm out.
That settles it. All good on the
Yeah.
military, y'all. I'm good.
Yeah. I had motherfuckers, some Latin kings shot at us one time, and I heard the fucking things go through the tree branches above my head. I quit.
That was it for
I got
you.
a jump shot, nigga. I'm out.
That was it for you. That was it for you. Are there any other races we're looking at right now? Are we about to call this thing a night and kind of see if we I mean, they're not going to be all completed.
There's polls closing in 3. California closes in a couple minutes.
Okay. So we're going to stick around and see what the first California results are?
They're doing projections right now. They're doing the projections right now for California. Alex Padilla is projected.
Here we go. Oh, 15 seconds.
He held his spot.
Here we go.
What else we got?
Oh.
It's so funny you said that. Idaho elected a dude named Crapo. That fits.
That seems reasonable. Here,
Yeah, that
let's see
makes
some of these. Let's see some of these results that are coming in here.
Wow, they know so fast.
Yeah,
I've
man.
been pre-counting all types of stuff.
Man, I can't believe that dude picked that picture for himself.
Which guy?
Ron. Fuck, I can't remember.
I'm on a delay, so I'll know shortly. Ron Wyden.
Me too.
Yes.
I'm on a bit of a delay.
Look
Yeah,
at that
Ron-
picture. Look at Ron White. Look at that picture he chose.
So
He
I've seen.
voluntarily picked.
I'll be
that
honest.
picture.
I've seen Ron Wyden like speak a couple times. I've seen some pictures. Like that's about as good as it's gonna get, dog. That's pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
pretty
kind of
much
who
the
he
best.
is.
That's the best you're gonna get. You know.
Louis kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, you could pretty much lock Gavin Newsom as a winner for the governor.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Fuck, Ron Johnson is up again.
Oh shit!
Ron Johnson's up 12,000.
I would like this to not be a terribly long night, but
It's
I don't
good.
think
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be sleeping a whole lot. I'm sure. Yeah, he's up. Fuck.
So he finally caught
All
up.
right.
And passed.
Yeah, by a little bit, but that's not a lot.
But I'm
And
saying,
also
where are they turning
Milwaukee-
votes at? That's what we need to know.
61%. And here's what I was saying is that anything that's close, the larger mail-in ballots are still going to be coming from the Democratic side, I believe, and
Also,
so those are not going to
Milwaukee
be counted
also-
until after.
Milwaukee always is late. I always remember that. As a matter of fact, I remember you were in LA when Trump won, and we were arguing about whether or not he was going to take Wisconsin. And because it was a similar thing, it was a delay. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm refreshing this shit. I think this motherfucker's going to win Wisconsin. You were like, yeah, no, there's no way he's going to win.
I was in
It doesn't matter.
Chicago. I was in Chicago the night you won.
You were here?
Yep.
I thought you were in LA. But anyway, my point is, for some reason, there was a delay. Because I was getting like the things like a couple seconds before you. And I was like, nah, man.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
But,
they're late.
But hey, man, it looks like shit. I can't hear what they're saying, and Rachel Maddow doesn't look like she wants to kill herself. So I'm feeling okay so far about the night. I have a little less anxiety about than I did when we started this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to be real anxious. It's a shame that I think it's a shame that it's this close. Some of those races that we've talked about, like the Herschel Walker Warnock situation is insane to me. The JD Vance situation is insane to me. Those things are I find those to be wild. I'd like to see Mandela Barnes pull that out. I think to be a nice upset. Be great if Fetterman grabbed his seat. That would be a solid.
I thought he was gonna win, and he did. Brian Kemp won.
Yeah,
Georgia.
yeah, yeah. He was up big. That's
Oh yeah, there was no way they was gonna let that happen. They had
No.
already made. That's why they couldn't. You can't even give a person a glass of water.
What do you think Stacey Abrams' next move is?
She's got to take a job with Biden doing something.
I don't know, man. Why do you think that happened though? Because she raised a lot of money for the Democratic Party. Do you think that the Democratic Party gave her enough support?
I think they gave her great support, man. I just think like, dude, Raphael Warnock, the Reverend of Martin Luther King's church, who is an amazing orator, a man of high character, is losing to fucking Herschel Walker. It's Georgia, man. It's the South.
Yeah, I mean, the fight by racist people to kind of like hold on to the last tenets of their shit. This is it, right? Like this is there are people down there again. Well, I think a lot of the vote for Kemp is because he wasn't like, he wasn't like Abbott. Yes, the election shit with Abrams the previous time was fucking janky as hell. But when Trump lost, he didn't try and fucking, do a bunch of shit to help Trump out during that time. You know what I mean? Like he held that line. And so there's a lot of people that weren't into Trump who are in Georgia who are willing to be okay with Kemp because he didn't fucking go down that path. Right.
Yeah.
And there are other Republicans. Right. There are other Republicans who like probably wished he would have gone with Trump, but just don't give a fuck. He's still a Republican. You can't let a Democrat be in charge, especially not Stacey Abrams. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think
that black lady.
It'd have been, Georgia is obviously not ready.
Stacey Abrams reminded me of my sophomore history teacher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
60,000 vote lead for Fetterman. He's dipped under 50% now. That's another crazy situation. You know what I mean? But I've heard some people complain. There's some people who are local to Pennsylvania that complain that Fetterman isn't as genuinely. There. He doesn't come from being broke. He does come from some money. Fetterman's not broke. He went to Harvard. But he came home and he became a mayor of a town where he made no money. So. He's also not like a millionaire billionaire guy out here. He also didn't just come into a location and start trying to be a guy acting like he's from there. So there's a bunch of things at play there. It's a trade-off. So I don't know. It's been interesting.
Yeah, it looked like it doesn't look good in the Senate to me.
Yeah, it's.
So what do you want to do? What do you guys want to do? You guys want to call it a night? It's 10:00. We've been on.
Yeah,
I think 2.5 hours.
I'm starting to get low on batteries everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm getting low.
I am physically feeling that way.
Yeah, and I'm feeling it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been shooting all day and ran in at the last minute.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's give it it's been good. I think we got to talk about getting back into the regular swing of things. Rob, I'm gonna have to talk to you offline at some point. I got to talk about all the shit you got going on.
Okay, all right, that'll work.
Here's some crazy shit. As we're wrapping up, I'm noticing our numbers right now. We have the most viewership now.
Of course.
As we're wrapping up. Hope you guys. Hey, it's going to be posted on the website. You guys should be able to see it on my Facebook page, our YouTube page, and as well as our Twitch, our Twitch page. Anybody? I don't know what the Twitch numbers are. I can't see the Twitch numbers because I don't have it up. But hey, I hope you guys had fun.
Yeah, hope it was a good time. It was nice. It was nice to see y'all, man. It's been officially a year away. It's been like a year and 3 days since the last time that we were on. And if you are watching this, the new OGs are officially coming back. The dates of our return episodes are still TBD. And how the network and all that's will be coming out soon as we figure out Rob's mechanical royalties.
Hey, keeping with that note, please follow me on YouTube.
Yeah, where can they find you, Rob?
Robert L. Hines on YouTube. Robert L. Hines across all social media, including Instagram and TikTok.
Nice.
Also on Facebook.
Excel, what about you?
Please follow that YouTube because that's where the dough is. That's where the money resides.
Well, Follow him on YouTube. XL Comedy on YouTube and Instagram. I am XEXLEL on Facebook. That's EXEL XL on Facebook. I just got back on Facebook, so yeah, that I hate that place, but I'm back there and I'm making with the funnies and talking. We're broadcasting on there right now. To the audience just got bigger. What the fuck was
God,
y'all
you are
at
so
earlier?
fucking high. You're so high.
I am, but I'm just saying the audience just
It's
got
so
bigger.
obvious. It becomes so obvious when
He
you
said
fucking blast
making
it,
with
dude.
the funnies.
Make it with the funnies. That's what I knew. I was like, this nigga's so high right now. Oh my God. This video said making with the funnies. Like this was 1974.
No, that was more like the 30s, pal.
Hey, make with the
We're
funnies,
wise
see?
guys. We're wise guys. We make with the funnies. Like,
Make with the funnies or I'll break your ankle, see?
Shout out to the homie Blake Burkhart.
Hey, Blake Burkhart, love shout outs.
Dang. Oh shit! Woo! Yeah, we got it back. Well, yeah, I'm at XL Comedy everywhere, and there will be a new XL Comedy page on Facebook soon. But right
Nice.
now it's just XL. That's it. And Bobby, where you at?
You can find me at Mocha_Jesus on all the social medias. You can find the show at The New OGs on YouTube. That is the handle at The New OGs. You can find us at New OGs on Twitch. If you're on one of the different ones and want to see what it looks like on something else. New shows coming soon. Get on the Facebook page with The New OGs. Follow us on there or on Twitter and Instagram. That you'll find us at The New OGs on all those. Follow us on there. And we'll let you know as soon as you got a new episode coming. Fellas, it was wonderful seeing everybody. This was a blast.
And we'll have some new theme music as soon as I can learn how to upload.
Yeah, we
theme
threw
music
this together. We threw
and
it
make it
together.
fun.
We wanted to get back together. We wanted to do a reunion, you know?
So, all right, guys.
You got to end the
Take it away.
broadcast, OXL. That's the only way it works.
I know. I forgot. Hey, man. There we go. All right, I'm out. Peace.